only thing I'm curious, is there a pressure difference between left and right?
the beginning of the end and the start of a new beginning. Time has come to redefine yourself and let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and prove them wrong. It's time for rebirth. Yeah, time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will feel free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you're the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a I don't give a fuck. 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 It's time to start doing the right thing. So trust your instincts, stop listening to others, and own your decisions. People will always tell you what to do, speak and how to live. So let's create space for what matters most to you. You'll be glad you did. Now start claiming your time and your mental well-being by saying no more. No more. Say it loudly and proudly. In other words, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Welcome, 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 folks. How are you all this fine evening? Well, I know that there were a bunch of people that were going to watch the fight, restream it, and have watch parties and whatnot. But YouTube seems to be pretty aggressive about nuking any attempts to do so, and I'm pretty sure Rumble and Twitch are going to do the same. So I guess you're stuck with me. Maybe not. I don't know. Go find a fight somewhere. Go watch it. Yeah, what fight? Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't know it was for tonight. I did not. I didn't know that. But anyway, guys, we're going to have a great show tonight. We're going to talk about something that most of us probably don't think about, but could very well affect your life in a really meaningful way, whether you want it to or not. And we're going to get into that in just a few minutes. First, though, let me start with my standard intro. Welcome to the show. What we're going to do tonight is pretty much our standard format, and that is going to be I'm going to do my intro. We're going to do a monologue. I'm hoping we'll get some guests up here. I was hoping to have a couple of different people on. Obviously, I didn't realize there was a fight on tonight, so they were non-committal. We'll see if anyone shows up. It's fine to me either way. Anson Knowles, it's Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Tyson is going to get his fist worn out with Jake Paul's face. I see Paul taking a nice, comfy nap at some point, and it just being a really pleasant experience for everyone involved. So yeah, that's what I see happening. So yeah, we're gonna have so during the monologue, we're gonna talk tonight. The subject of tonight's, if you hadn't already guessed, is the massive amount of fraud. There's no other word to put it. Theft maybe covers it, but mostly it's fraud committed by our own federal government and agents thereof in confiscating people's wealth and belongings in very dubious circumstances. I'm gonna tell you about that, and you probably don't think about this very much. And to be honest with you, I didn't either. I just happened to catch a video one day. I think it was while I was waiting for an airplane. I was waiting for a flight somewhere. I don't know, and I was watching this video, and it just really resonated with me in a couple of different ways. And I really want to dig into this tonight. And I'm hoping that we can get some people up here to chat about it, because it's going to be great. In the meantime, I must remind everyone here, which it looks like we have basically all regulars, that, the show is supported by my wallet, and I must enhance the grift. Now, coming soon will be these fine hats in the various colors and styles. I think there's even going to be a camouflage one with the leather patch and the man card logo that we all, or the man card business card sort of thing that we all know and love, that I use so often in so many ways. And it's great. It's going to be a good time. I'm not really sure on the final pricing of the hats. I should know Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday. And the hats should be available within 2 to 3 weeks from today. And probably once I have order confirmation, I'll of the ones that I'm ordering, I'll do some pre-orders, and we'll get those out to people who want them, and they're going to be great. Along with that, I've got T-shirts, hoodies, and a couple of other odds and ends. I'm thinking about doing a type of uniform type, old style mechanic uniform type shirt, work shirt, as well. Probably with the Man Card Garage or something logo on it. I don't know. We'll figure that out. I'm working right now to get all the art done for it. As soon as I have that ready, away we will go. In the meantime, any money that you can throw my way to keep, to keep me plugging away towards that goal is much appreciated. And I cannot actually offer any reward for such actions. However, occasionally I will do a random draw, and just for no specific reason. And when we do those, I'll send you something cool. As a matter of fact, I owe somebody from last week, and I need to get that. I need to get that gift pack together. And just to remind everybody, the TTS is been lowered to $10. $20 and up gets you special consideration. And I will stop the chat, although I do not have anyone up here with me tonight to. We'll make sure that we get those heard. I did not put the Cash App link. Let me edit now. I'll do that now. I'm sorry. Thank you for reminding me, Mister. I did not do that tonight. So give me 1 sec. And whoops, that was back. I did that wrong. In the meantime, civil forfeiture started out as a good idea. The idea originally was that to help pay for some of the cost of policing, they would seize assets by criminals in specific types of crime, mostly drug related, but not always, and sell those items and keep the cash and use it and just put it into a till that they work out of. It has been so corrupted, absolutely amazingly corrupted, that if you haven't stayed up on it, you're going to be extremely shocked. You just are. Like I was shocked, and I know you're going to be shocked, and it's going to be pretty crazy. So let me finish up this. I got to do this thing so that the description is correct. And I apologize. I did not do that this evening. I was too busy watching Glenn get nuked for attempting the impossible, which was to stream the fight. And so that was funny. And yeah, so, and here we go. And we just hit. All right, guys, and now the description should be accurate now. Hopefully it is. And let's see. And it will have the wrong button. And it does have the Cash App information there for you. All right, good deal. I got to remember to do that. It's and I'm kind of self-punishing myself to do this, so I make it happen. All right, guys. So when we talk about civil forfeiture, again, it was originally designed around the idea that if that they would seize these assets from criminals and use them against them, basically. And it's not a bad idea, right? However, what has happened is it's been corrupted to the point where there was a town in Texas, a district actually in Texas, where officers, frequently the same officers, would stop drivers with out of county or out of state plates for staying in the left lane too long, not passing or not getting back in the right lane. And then when they would pull them over, a lot of times they would conduct a search of the vehicle. And there were a couple of instances where they actually they found cash. In one case, it was $6,050 or something. They threatened they took the driver, his girlfriend, and their children to the DA's office. They followed them there or whatever. There, the DA literally told them that if they signed an affidavit, basically releasing the cash to the court, to the police, that they could go on about their way. If they didn't, they would be charged, arrested, and their children would be put into the foster care system or child protective services. So obviously, they signed the paper. Same district, same jurisdiction. A man who owned a restaurant was traveling through the area to, and Texas is very large. He had it was him, his wife, their baby, like I'm assuming under 3 years old. I don't know the exact age of the child, and an employee of the restaurant owner who was they were going specifically to another town to an auction to buy restaurant equipment, stuff that you would use in a restaurant. And he had $50,000 in cash. Again, same officer pulls over the driver, same offense, lingering in the left lane, gets pulled over, or pulls this guy over. Once again, says that he smells the odor of marijuana in the car. And this is almost always with vehicle stops. This is almost always the case, is that they say that they smell something that could be marijuana. This has actually happened to me. I'll get into that in a minute. And so they stop. He, based on this odor of marijuana, institutes a search, finds the cash, doesn't find anything else. There's nothing else incriminating in his car. Same exact thing. Takes the guy in. He's given the same deal. Sign over the cash by the same DA. In this case, he refuses. He says, "I can't do that. This is business money. It's not my money. I mean, I own the business, but you don't commingle funds. So this is business money. I can't sign it over to you. Here's where I took it from the bank. I can prove this is my money. It didn't come from anything nefarious." And they arrested him, impounded his car, seized his cash, arrested his girlfriend and his employee. Obviously, they all had to bond out, and all of that happened, and it took them a very long time to get his $50,000 back. And I could go on story after story. And now these are kind of older stories, but more recently, a man was pulled off an airplane, off his flight, because TSA noticed he had a large amount of cash in his backpack. A DEA agent was notified. And this is we'll get into this in a minute. The DEA agent confronts this person who says, "Hey, I want to search." He says, "I want to search your backpack." The guy refuses. He says, "I don't understand why you need to search my backpack." The DEA agent maintains that he has every right to search the backpack, and the backpack is now seized and the backpack is detained. The guy could leave if he left his backpack there and get on his flight and fly out, or he could stay with the backpack. But the backpack, according to the DEA agent, the backpack was not leaving. Well, the guy says, "Bullshit," and he gets on his flight, sits in his chair, or takes a seat. The DEA agent follows him onto the airplane, attempts to remove the guy's personal items from the airplane. The guy then follows him out as the DEA agent is carrying his backpack, his belongings, out back into the airport. And suppose that they bring a dog in. Supposedly the dog keys on the backpack. They search the backpack, and then supposedly the dog has been trained to indicate on cash, drugs, and something else. And the dog sits on the backpack, and which is not really a keying sign. The guy gives permission to search the backpack. They knew the cash was in there because TSA had alerted them. They find the cash. They tell the guy that they're seizing the cash. He said, "Why? It's my money. It's $5,000. I'm legally allowed to travel with my own money within the continental United States." We're going to get into that law in a minute. And the guy ends up obviously missing his flight. He has to sue to get his money back. Now, there was no reason for a confrontation to even happen. There was no reason for that DEA agent to interact with this individual at all. There was no reason for contact. The reason that there's contact is because TSA when you put your luggage through, if it has a large amount of, if they see cash, if they find cash in your, or if they know there's cash in your bag, TSA can't do anything about it. They notify the DEA agent, who's usually in the airport. They're not all airports have one, but a lot of airports have the agents in them, and then he will then confront you and basically tell you that you cannot leave until he searches your items, because he suspects that you are doing something illegal. Now, in each one of the cases that I've talked about, nobody was doing anything illegal. No charges were actually filed, except in the incident of the restaurant guy, who no charges were actually filed. He was arrested, he was detained, and then they later released him. But there were never any actual charges filed. There were no crimes. Now you're like, how can this be? How can you just take my stuff without even with no crime? There's no crime. There's no reason for you to take my stuff. Why is this happening? Well, because they can. Because civil forfeiture doesn't require any proof of a crime. As a matter of fact, if you, for example, let's say that you have a son, and your son sells pot or whatever, and he buys from an officer. The officer notes that. There have been cases where, even though the homeowners are not involved, they don't know anything about their son doing it, and it's a low level, like $20 or whatever offense. It's not even a real misdemeanor. Parking tickets are more serious. They have tried, the government has literally tried to seize their homes that they paid for. Right? This is crazy, man. This is nuts. And it's terrible to think about that there's no proof required. Zero proof. No proof at all. They don't need anything. All they have to do is say they suspect you of X. Cars have been impounded. Boats have been impounded. They don't need a reason. It's the worst thing about law enforcement that nobody talks about is civil forfeiture. And you have to fight them to get it back. So I think you're right on that, 13. I think you are right on that. But the problem is that they don't. So here's how they do this, and I'm a little disjointed. I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit, but let me kind of keep moving along here. Let me plot along the path. So in the spirit of the law, this is in conjunction with an actual investigation where they know that somebody is selling illegal materials, or they're trafficking in something nefarious. There's some actual criminal activity going on, but they can't really prove it, and they need a reason why. They need a reason to get in there, or they just need to. They're trying to get to you somehow, right? And so civil forfeiture was where they roll up on the boat, they look on the boat, there's 30 pounds of pot in there, nobody knows whose it is, so they just seize the boat, right? Or they pull you over for speeding. They've been following you for 3 months. They know you're dealing. They just can't figure out how you're dealing, and they find a little trace amount of something and they seize your car, right? That's how it's supposed to work. But that's not how it actually works. And worse, it's not how any of this goes down. Usually, this is targeted. And the reason it's targeted is because agencies work together and they split the proceeds. So there was a guy, this was, I think, last year, and he flew from, I believe, Texas to Ohio. I think this is in 2022. It's hard to get accurate numbers, which we'll get into in just a minute, but it's hard to get accurate numbers, but a guy flew from Texas to Ohio to buy a wrecker, to start a wrecker company in Texas. He gets to Ohio, the wrecker, he goes, he looks at it, he decides not to buy it. Goes back to get on a plane, fly home, TSA notify, and he literally has $28,000 banded together and put in his in basically a paper bag that he's carrying with him through the airport, because he didn't bring any luggage. They were going to go up, they were going to buy the truck, and they were going to drive back. That's what they were going to do. They weren't doing anything else, right? So it's him and his son. Guy gets in the airport, TSA. He tells the TSA, I have a lot of cash on me. I just was doing business. It's literally in a paper bag. The TSA guys notify. Yes, that's right, Anson. They actually defended the guy I'm talking about. They helped him get his money back. The Institute for Justice has been fighting for this for a long time. They've got a lot of documentation on it. They actually wrote a book about it. So I think they call it policing for profit or whatever. So the DEA contacts these two individuals. They say that because the money is in a paper bag wrapped up in rubber bands, that's what drug dealers do. And the fact that they had bought a one-way ticket there and a one-way ticket back, because obviously they were going to drive the truck back, there was a high indicator of that they were drug mules. So they seized the cash. The guy had to fight tooth and nail to get his cash back. And the Institute for Justice, which Anston just DM'd me their information, they helped him get it back, or they helped him get his money back. They had to get every dime back. The thing is that during the Silvar Ogre, the interesting thing is when you say that without proof they shouldn't be able to do it, but they don't. They're not even looking for proof. They ignore, if you have proof, they ignore it. They in this case, the guy basically he showed them the ad for the truck, the pictures of the truck that have been, and the emails back and forth between the seller. They had the seller's phone number, everything, and say, hey, we're legit. This is what we're doing. They didn't care. Confiscated cash anyway. They shouldn't have that power, but they do have that power. And it's very interesting. It's a very interesting dynamic. And I agree with you that we are powerless. They do have that. They do have this power, and usually it's the carrot or the stick. Either you release this cash to us, or we arrest you and throw you in jail. So this is a very interesting thing, right? And so, and it doesn't have to be a lot of money. A lot of times, it's $5,000 is enough. It doesn't even need to be a ton of money. So I found it very interesting. I still find it very interesting, and it's really out of control. Congress doesn't want it. It's like one of the few things that everyone in Congress agrees on is they need to get rid of it. They haven't been able to get rid of it yet. I'm not really sure why, but they do. There have been multiple times in multiple jurisdictions, including the state of Tennessee. Tennessee did a study on this back in 2018, I believe, that showed that at the federal level, they had confiscated something like $13 million in Tennessee alone, and nationwide it was $2 billion in assets that have been, and money, mostly cash, forfeited. This is this seems really wild, right? But now a lot of we're going to get into some of this a little. We're going to just kind of dive right into this a little bit because I think it's very important to understand some of the nuances. So first of all, most of the time, if like I don't fly with cash myself very often. Usually, if I'm going to go somewhere to buy something, first of all, I don't like carrying cash that much because people's, I could get robbed. Things happen. But if I'm flying or driving somewhere, I tend to I tell my local bank to let my bank that's local to wherever I'm going know that I'm coming and I'm going to need X amount of cash to do whatever business I need to do. That usually works for me. Not everybody can do that. I understand that. And don't think that you're safe because you're driving, because it happens anytime you're traveling. You could be literally driving down the road, 10 grand, cross the state line somewhere, get pulled over by a state trooper, and it just be the wrong guy, the wrong day, and next thing you know, whatever you have is gone. And again, I'm looking at this as I'm talking about this mostly in the cash seizure, because I think that's the most egregious and the easiest of the things for them to do. But they do it with boats, cars. They try to seize an airplane. So there's an instance where a guy flew his airplane from somewhere in Arizona, and he kind of got off course, and he kind of flew just right on the edge of Mexico for a little while, and he came back, and he figured out where he was, and he went. I think went from Arizona to New Mexico. He lands in New Mexico, and they seize his airplane as a drug mule, and basically were 100% convinced that he had landed in Mexico, picked up drugs, taken off again, somehow by himself, dropped the drugs out of the airplane before he landed. They were absolutely convinced of this just because of the weird pattern on radar, and his plane was seized. That was very, obviously there's literally no evidence at all that he had done any of this stuff. It's just an old dude, and with an old plane. Like he didn't have GPS. He did, but they didn't care. They honestly, they don't care. And they're just, it's a big business. Billions of dollars are seized. It's so bad there. And that the government knows that it's crooked, because if you ask for information about how much that they've taken, or a database of where that money's going, or any of that, they will not give it to you. They will tell you that is law enforcement information. And if they release that information, it weakens the system, and they just can't have that. And it's crazy. And I mean, they go after houses, cars, everything, anything that you own. You think you own it, but with no proof at all, federal agents can, and sometimes local and state agents can, seize your property, and you have to fight tooth and nail to get it back. And this is crazy to me. This is absolutely nuts. It's amazing in this country that we stand for such a thing. Now, again, it had a noble root. It just was way off base. OPC Don, I see you there. Hi, Michelle. I see you came in. Cam the King, welcome. I see you're back. And obviously 13 and Michigan Christian, good to see you. But Joe Mobley, come up here and let's talk about this, because you're a Fed. I mean, you were a Fed. I mean, you're probably still a Fed. Come on up, man. I sent you the link earlier. Joe Mobley knows exactly what I'm talking about because I'm positive that he has had acquaintances, people that he knows, um, that potentially did some of these things. You were a DOD? I thought you were a Fed. I thought you were federal. Well, DOD's all they just work for them. Right. Well, click the link and get up here, man. Yeah, everyone needs to smash the like button and um let's get everybody up here. Silver Ogre, I got a call from the FOP asking for donations. Police retirement legal fund. I asked. Oh, they hung up on you. Wow, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Speaking of people who've been in jail recently, OPC Don, I heard that you had an experience. I hope you're okay. Um, and it's good stuff. That's very interesting, Silvar. That's when you're on the right path when government folk hang up on you. Yeah, you're probably right about that, Anson Knowles. So, no, I think you're right. I think is placed in good intentions. I believe that. I believe that to be true. I think you were right the first time, Damien. Yeah, I believe that. Joe is being very hesitant about coming up. He must be. He must think he's going to bed early tonight or some crap like that. Michelle, it seems like you missed the introduction. The hats are coming that look like this. The leather patch will be the man card, business card kind of thing that I have that I use as a screensaver, and we will. Okay, we'll finish that up and come on up. Hurry up. And he's Joe Boxer. That's funny. I remember Joe Boxer. But yeah, so Michelle, the hat should be ready in about 3 weeks, and once I have the order a commitment from the maker about the order, the leather patch hats will be done, I think, in 2 to 3 weeks. So, and once I have confirmation, I'll start taking pre-orders. So there'll be that. Be good stuff. I know everybody's excited about watching the fight tonight, and the wearing out of Mike Tyson's fist by Jake Paul's face, but I'm just not into it. Good evening, Serene. How are you? So the civil forfeiture thing is just so crazy to me. Like it's really, I mean, and look, if they, and look, here's the thing. If you tell them no, you can't, no, I'm not giving it to you. They don't just go, ah, shucks, and go away. They come back with a full on tack team. Like it's like, you don't want to give me your money? That's okay. That's fine. I'll just come back with all my buddies. And we'll we'll just and if you don't do it, we'll shoot you. And they actually did that. There was a ranch, and I forget which state it was in, but there was a ranch that they wanted. The rancher told the local government over and over again, go F themselves, fuck you, fuck your friends, fuck everybody. It's my ranch, been my family for generations, and I'm not selling. And so the DEA started a rumor that he was growing marijuana on his property, and they raided him. Went into the house, guns out. His wife freaks out and starts screaming, guns, 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 or whatever. Guy doesn't know what's going on. He comes out from the bedroom with a revolver in his hand, apparently down at his side, and they lit him up. They shot him. As a matter of fact, they have audio tape of the guy laying, and they didn't call the police or anything. They were more worried about searching the place than they were taking care of this guy bleeding out on the ground. He died while he was on the floor dying. His neighbor called to see what was going on. The police answered and told him that he was busy and couldn't come to the phone. Literally, while the guy was sitting or laying on his floor bleeding out. And that's the kind of police officers we don't need in this country. Now, I'm all for good law enforcement. I believe that we must have some law enforcement of some kind. But when we give an inch, they don't take a mile. They take 10. They take 100. They can come into your home. And by they, I mean the federal government. Your state and local government are not immune from that either. They can do the same thing. It's just a little harder for them to do it. They can come into your home at any time they want. They don't need a search warrant. They don't honestly need any of that. All they really need is some made up suspicion that you're doing something wrong. And they will come into your house and they can shoot you. And by they, I mean law enforcement. Lil Wayne's story, yeah. I don't know if you guys have heard that before. I've heard him tell it a couple of times in various videos where he was a little kid, and he got I think his friend shot him or something like that. And the cops showed up. He's sitting there bleeding out. And the cops literally stepped over him to get the evidence to make a drug case against somebody. And it was just one cop that had just happened to, or I guess knew him a little bit or something. And, took the time to save that kid, save his life while he was sitting there bleeding out on the ground. And I'm just telling you, again, I have friends that are, I have friends that are law enforcement officers. I know for every good law enforcement officer, I know two worthless ones. K2, keep on trucking. Yes, DOT cops do in fact suck. They are, once again, they're a portion of law enforcement that had a great intention, but they suck. They don't do their job. They don't keep us safe. All they really do mostly is they cost independent truckers a boatload of money. And if you ever want to get really pissed off, go be a professional trucker. Go drive a truck where you have to meet DOT guidelines, and then watch every moron with a dually go roll by you with a trailer with lights out, the tires on the truck are bald, the trailer axles all jacked up, and they'll just roll right on by. But you do the same thing in your commercial vehicle. It could be the exact same vehicle, exact same truck, exact same trailer, and if you have a tail light out, they will stop you and they will hang you up, man, for hours. And it's tough, man. It's a tough gig. And like I said, I do know some really good cops, and I know, but for every good, honest, rational cop I know two bad ones. And worse, of the 4 or 5, well, I know more than 4 or 5, but dude, a lot of the good cops I know, they aren't with us anymore, man. They just aren't. One was I had a friend of mine who was an officer. I'm not going to say where, but he was in the Kansas, Nebraska area. He was actually off duty. He responded as an off-duty backup to another officer to render assistance, and he was shot in the chest, and he died. I mean, I feel bad for his wife. It was really terrible. And he's gone. And he was a great cop. He really was. well, I had a friend of mine last year. He was a school resource officer. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to talk about how he passed, but he left behind a wife and a child as well. It seems like to me the bad good for nothing cops live, and the really good guys they don't live as long. It's just the way it is. That's right. Police officers are people. They are good and bad. We have to limit them so the bad ones don't take advantage of us, although they always will. And the bad do drive out the good. That's true. Silvar Ogre. Mr. I didn't realize your brother was a detective, man. That's awesome, dude. I hope he's a good cop. Mr. Mobley? Are you talking about my buddy? No, he was shot by a perpetrator. Yeah. If that's what you're asking, if my buddy who was that was about 2 years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago. He yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm scrolling here. Yeah. Yeah, they'll pull over. The DOT cops are terrible. I've had some dealings with them. Yeah, not Jafar and his white Volvo. They let them go because he's full of violations, and I just don't want. They just don't want to deal with it. That's right. That's accurate, man. That's accurate. Yeah. Yeah. No, he got. His name was Mike. Mike got. He was shot in the chest by the perpetrator. It was a carjacking, and Mike just happened to be there closest. I think he got there before the actual responding officer. So he ended up and he was off duty. He didn't have his vest on. It was just bad all the way around. His wife is really an amazing and awesome person, and she actually had a company called Shield Maiden where she was a firearms instructor for women, and she really did a lot of good stuff for people, and he did too. But the good ones get the good ones get gone. So I think that's true. 13. I think that's true. So anyway, guys, man, but the civil forfeiture thing, I got a little dark there for a minute. The civil forfeiture thing is something that none of us should accept. None of us, I understand this is one of those things where it does actually pay to write your congressman and keep a fire under them to do something about it, even if it doesn't affect you directly. And here's the real thing: the people who are doing this, the DAs, the prosecutors, the police officers, the DEA agents, there's nothing to stop them from doing it. There's just nothing. And nobody cares. So it's we got to stop it, guys. Civil forfeiture should literally make everyone sick at their stomach. The idea that with no evidence whatsoever of any wrongdoing, your neighbor could have their car impounded, could have all their life savings, because some old people, my neighbors are old, and some young people, just think about this. Think about you're a kid and you're going to college and you're moving to a new town, and you close out your bank account, your local bank account, you put that cash in an envelope, driving across country, adventure of the lifetime. You get pulled over, they find the cash, and the cops just see a 21-year-old kid. And they take your money. And they've done that exact thing. They've done that exact thing. I actually and I don't remember because I'm really bad with musicians, but there was a musician that had was literally living in his car. He had like no money, and he had a song hit. He gets paid. He gets an advance, and then he's driving across country. He's moving from wherever the hell he was. I think he was moving either to Nashville or LA, one of the music centers, probably Nashville. Gets pulled over in like Nowheresville, fucking Ohio. The cop turns it into notifies the DEA, and literally every dime he had, man, like literally, probably left him with $100 to get to the next town or put gas in the car. And this is terrible. This is terrible, and it does violate the Constitution. Mobley, why are you not up here, man? This is right up your alley, bro. Mr. Your brother worked the gang unit in New York. Keeps a house revolver as precaution. Yeah, I mean you should. And I have a buddy of mine who's a cop in New York, and he's a solid dude, man. He's just putting in his time into retirement, then he's out of there. He's a solid dude, though. He does rifle instruction at West Point. He's a pretty cool dude. Constitution was supposed to be the thing that stopped them. 4, 5, and 8th Amendments, due process clause, and on, and yet it doesn't stop them. It doesn't stop them. Yeah. 13 says, I drove through puddle my Ford Probe with something. The engine, Metro got out in uniform and helped me push it out of the street. I guess basically he's saying his probe broke down, and an officer helped him push it out of the street when he could have towed it. That's a good dude. That's a solid officer right there. And those guys are out there. Don't get me wrong, guys. They are out there. It's Anson, maybe he had a burrito. Oh, waterlocked. I got you. Yeah, hydrolock, I think is what you're thinking of. So, Anson, do you think he had a burrito? Yeah. Anyway, anyway, God, I mean, this is a lot better with two people to go back and forth on, but the civil forfeiture thing it just always amazes me. Houses, cars, motorcycles, whatever. And you can't stop it. You cannot stop it. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, you can sue the government. You have to sue the government to get your money back. The interesting thing is that it's not like most other things. To get your items back, you have to sue the government, which is nuts. This is crazy, guys. This is like literally the craziest thing I've seen in some time. Tongue punched the wrong. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I got distracted by a minute. Kevin says, in his experience, the cops are one of three kinds. 1 out of 3 are regular dudes like you and I, just doing a job and genuinely trying to be helpful. 1 out of 3 follow the leader. 1 out of 3 are hardcore drill sergeants. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, that's right. to get your money back, Mr. Boulay, you have to spend money to sue the government in order to get your money back. It's absolutely right. Worse is it, and the same thing goes for gold, precious coins, any what are they? It's a negotiable thing, right? So like bearer bonds, right? Because it doesn't matter. Look, guys, you think, oh no, you know what? I'm going to put my money in a bank envelope because that looks official. Now, they're going to say that that's exactly what a drug dealer does. Smart drug dealers, they put it in a bank envelope so it's not suspicious looking. If you roll it up with a rubber band, they're going to say that that looks like a dealer roll. You look like a dealer. If you put it in your wallet and put it in your glove box and lock it, they're going to say, well, you know what? That's what a drug mule does. And I've had some experience with this. So when I was I was young. It was like 98, 99,000 ish. So a little over a long time ago. And I was living in Tahoe, and I worked in Reno, and I drove down, and I often drove through Carson City. I just like that drive a little better. Sometimes I would go over incline and come down the back way, which was the back way to me. I just didn't care. I would go either way. It was a great, it was just a great place to kind of hang out when you were when you were that age. So I get pulled over, and the officer literally says that he smells he could smell something burning. Well, what it was the catalytic converter on my truck was like kind of halfway stopped up, and I didn't know that. And I ended up having to change it at some point, and it was melting the carpet. So there was actually something burning. I didn't realize that at the time. I found that later, that it had melted the carpet in the back seats, or the floorboard to the back seat. I didn't know that, but he said, I can smell something burning. I think you've been smoking something. You smoke anything? I'm like, no, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I've never done anything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe you. Okay. And they searched my vehicle right there on the side of the road, man, the whole thing. And they ran the serial number on every firearm I had in the vehicle. They counted every dollar I had, and they were literally looking for something, anything to connect some dots. And unfortunately for them, I was stone cold sober, as I always am, and they had to let me go. So yeah, right. That's right, Mr. Boulay. But it was interesting because it was so obvious what they were doing, right? Like they were really looking for something, and they didn't really have any reason to search my vehicle. They needed to make something up, and they did that by saying they smelled something in my vehicle. John Mosman, how are you, sir? Did you just get here? It's been an interesting conversation. We're just kind of, I'm kind of pausing for a moment. How are you, sir? So, Mosman, we're talking about civil forfeiture. Would you like to come up and have a back and forth? Because Mr. Joe Mobley is being slow this evening. He's tending to his chillins. So, but yeah, at any rate, guys, so I had that happen to me once, which was very interesting, and I also had You know, obviously, I've been pulled over many, many times, so it's not a big deal. Uh, my favorite is when they ask me if I've been drinking, and I'm like, nope. No, I have not. Anson Knowles cracks me up, man. The government isn't special; they're just the biggest gang. That's right, and they're always recruiting. Anson, don't forget. Um, you know, Boulay. You were in the ER. Now you got to come up. We got to hear all about that. What are you going to ER for, John? You okay, buddy? You okay, man? I'll take it easy on you, John. I'll do all the talking. It's all right. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, if you're not well, man, you're not well. But you don't have to come up. But are you okay, man? Seriously, John. Um, yeah, K2. Yeah, I've had a I've had many times I've gotten pulled over, more or less just because I've had out of state plates or um, something like that. It's always very interesting. Um, I don't know that I've ever been pulled over where something was really like a big deal. You had chest pain. Okay, that's serious. Um, okay, all right. Um, but I've had my vehicle searched many times, and I never really care because I never really keep anything in my vehicle. It's of consequence. I got pulled over one evening. Um, it's been a while. I don't even know how old I was, but and and literally, like, I have nothing in the car except guns. I always have guns in the car for some reason, and that gets them excited. They get excited about that. So, but oftentimes when I thought that they were 100% going to search my car, they didn't. But it must be my honest face. That or they just know I have a mighty fine lawn, and so I can't be a bad guy. So, man, Joe Mobley must be tied up. His children are probably rebelling and not going to sleep as they should be. Mosman, I hope you feel better, buddy. I'm really I'm sad to hear that you're under the weather, my friend. It's tough. It's a tough one. I figured flow state would have already come. Once I started talking about law and civil forfeiture and all of that, I figured flow state would magically appear since I know that he's probably been a victim. Yeah, come on up, Mister. Let's see. I want to hear your funny story. Don't go 53 mile per hour over the speed limit. It's expensive. Okay. I'm pretty sure I can admit to doing far more than that, but that's okay.
Seriously, Shelby donated $10, super chat. Are there any books you think I should read for leadership or military knowledge? Grid 1?
Man, that's leadership. A lot of good books on leadership, actually, but a lot of them aren't necessarily about leadership in and of themselves. I mean, the obvious ones of, Sun Tzu, Art of War, um, the what else? I hate being called. I hate being cold called like that. Let's see what we got here. So I always recommend this book. I have to be careful here because there are items that would get my channel nuked if I touch my camera. Stand by. All right, sorry about that. I had to. I have items behind me that if I touched them on camera, I would get nuked, and I chose not to be nuked. So if you can find this one, this one's tough. This is Wilderness Road. Hang on, let me do something here.
Is he Navy?
He's gonna be.
Yeah. Look up nautical terms. In the Marines, they,
First.
if you're if you're going to boot camp and you don't say the right term, that's why I put portholes in the chat, because it's not called glasses, it's called portholes. But yeah, it's funny. I would look into that, nautical terms. Just so you don't get hazed to death while you're out there. But okay, so this funny story, right? These police, I'm friends with a lot of them, and I was supposed to be in, but apparently I'm not quite cut out for police work. Perfect for government work. Perfect for government work, but not for police work. But apparently I don't, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But anyway,
right.
so they told me this. Yeah, they told me this story how there's a boardwalk, because I'm from the coast, right?
Sure.
And there's a boardwalk, and at certain times in the summers, they got to shut it down, right? So
Okay.
what happened was, and the point of it is, just don't. If they ask you to do something, they'll be nice to you if you cooperate. But if you want to play rough, or be a smart ass, thinking like they're going to respect you for that, like, oh, I'm a tough. They don't like that. Like, my brother will let a perp talk for 30 minutes, like, I'm innocent, and he's like, yeah, go ahead, tell me your story. Doesn't even matter what he says to him. 30 minutes later, he'll be like, yeah, you're going to jail.
All right.
But
So here's. I'm going.
Yeah,
Let
go ahead.
me run through these for Shelby. So Wilderness Road by Campbell Loftmiller, if you can find it. It's a good book to teach you how to be a good person, and good people are good leaders. To be a man is not a one-day job. That's pretty good. It's got some kind of wonky stuff in it, but overall, it's not bad. Negotiating with Giants. That's pretty good. And my favorite, I always recommend this book to everyone. If you haven't read it, it's fucking awesome. There it is. Thank You for My Service by Matt Best is fucking awesome. And you should read it. And it doesn't necessarily teach you about leadership, but you can, there's a lot that can be gleaned from how he looks in things and his personality, and it's worthwhile. So there you go. There are some others. Obviously, the obvious one, Sun Tzu. That's a great one. The Meditations is pretty good. Anson Knowles is actually really good. I got this book that he sent called Conceived Liberty, and that's pretty good. He turned me onto that. I've read most of it. I still lack a little bit, but it's pretty good. And then if you just want to read good books that teach you, kind of what a leader should be. I like. Let's see. Turn the other camera back on. I didn't realize we were going to do story hour. There you go. This is Warrior, the Legend of what's that guy's name again? Not Capstick. Colonel Richard Minor whatever. By Peter Hathaway Capstick. Anything by Capstick is awesome. And it's just a great book to read. And you'll learn some leadership out of that too. He was an excellent warrior, and he did many, many great things. So because I have more than one camera.
They should have a reading list too. Like I forget what the equivalent is for the highest rank of the Navy, but usually it'll be like whatever the rank is, and it'll say like that rank's reading list.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't know if he has DoD access yet or anything like that, but they have like manuals for everything. So
yeah, you got to read all the manuals, all of them. And actually read them. It's important. So, the one of the really good ones, one of my favorite is the Marine Corps combat manual. It is hilarious. It's only like 10 pages, I guess. Oh, he dropped off, and he'll be back. But it's very, very short, and mostly it consists of throw grenades. If in doubt, throw grenades. If you're entering a building, throw grenades. If you're in a stairwell, throw grenades. Basically, just throw grenades. There he is. He's back, folks. He's back.
Yeah, sorry, driving through the mountain.
Right.
So you got to hear the story. So they're at the boardwalk, right? And it's time to leave. So two of them, they're like, we're not leaving, and they're like, listen, this is the what do you call it, curfew, right? And they're like, screw you, pig. They're like, screw you, pig. And this is so funny, but they're like, all right, you got one last chance to leave. And you're like, F yourself. And now there's like 10 of them, and they won't leave, right? And a lot.
It's the mountains that gets him.
Nothing to do.
We're getting like every couple of we only got like two out of the last probably 20 words.
Oh shit. What about now?
That's way better.
Okay. Yeah, so they there's a bunch of them on the boardwalk still. They won't leave. So they call dispatch, and they're like send everyone in the area. Literally everyone. All of a sudden there's like 30 of them, and now my brother goes up to him and says to him, you want to leave now? And they're like, yeah. And he's like, too fucking late. So he's just pointing at people like, cuff him, everyone. And they're just they'll call a helicopter. They'll just have fun with it, So they're just like dragging bodies off the boardwalk.
That's pretty funny.
Oh man.
What does your brother think of civil forfeiture?
Um, they're aware of what you're saying, I would say. But it's just like a hush hush thing, I guess.
Mm.
And you know, it, they won't outright tell you that you have to lie at times, but it's kind of like one of those things where it's, I don't know. Even that, I would say, even them, they operate in between the lines sometimes. They
Yeah,
have
it
to
seems like a
because
lot of the time. It seems like a lot of the time it's straight up blackmail. Either sign
because
over your cash or you're going to jail.
because so much of it's political, but they
Sure.
don't like that. That's you know, I had to come up and kind of defend them a little bit because
Sure.
a lot of them, they don't like doing that shit, you know.
Yeah.
And I've seen what, you know, what they deal with at times. It's like, you know, I like me and K2, we drive trucks, right? So I'm out there in the city with a 53-foot trailer, which you're not supposed to have, driving through Manhattan, and I'm like, what the F? This guy's like double parked and shit. My brother goes, hit him. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, fucking hit him. And I'm like, what do you, he's like, you won't get a ticket, that guy will. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm damaging my shit. Like, he's like, that's what they'll tell you.
Yeah.
Just ram the fucker. You know?
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm not and look again, I know some really good matter of fact, I have a buddy of mine who's an officer in New York. I'm not gonna say where. Um, he teaches marksmanship and some other things at West Point as he's an instructor there in his leisure hour, and he does a lot of other cool stuff too. But he is super cool. He is like as straight up as an officer can be. You know what I'm saying? But even he
Yeah,
will tell you.
yeah, no,
Go ahead.
yeah. The only thing that sucks is like they will tell you straight up, even though they sometimes, even though this is the problem I have with it, because even though at times they don't want to do certain things, they it's like they have to back each other up, like in a
Yeah.
moral stance. You know,
Yeah.
I was on CT Chaotic Truth channel. Remember
Yeah.
him?
Yeah. 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 I was
They were
there a while.
covering a recent story about a guy in Florida who went ape shit, and they like a rookie had to take him down, and he ended up unaliving him. And I'm like, I said to him, I was, you know, because everyone was like flipping out in the chat and everything, and I'm like, you got to understand something. They're not bad. It's their training, because what you see happen in that scenario. I watched some videos like that, like with the fentanyl nonsense and everything.
Yeah.
You see, like, you could tell that they're not trained in that situation. I would not have that kid in that situation, because even the reporting officer didn't unalive the guy. It was a guy that just, you know, rolled up as like a side you know, help or whatever, and he was having a panic attack afterwards, like, oh my god, I can't believe I just did that. And they're all like trying to calm him down, even though he just blasted some guy, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's and they need training. They need like constant, proper training, like constant. And a lot of them don't get it, you know. Like me and my
Yeah.
brother, we would go to the range a lot, you know, because he would get like free ammo and shit. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's fucking go. You
Yeah. They do.
know,
That's true.
like, would you turn down free ammo if you had a chance to go, you know, shoot or whatever?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm
So,
getting yeah, I have Mr. Boulay. I'm sorry. I apologize, Mister. I got yeah, he's been in before. Am I missing something? Let me go.
so
I might be missing something. I'm not really paying attention in chat, so apologize. Yeah, Oh, I see. Yeah. I don't know that I would agree that most military officers are pretentious and gay, but certainly, um, they get more and more political as they go, as the further they go, and becoming a general officer is all about the politics, and that's a real problem that they have. So you can't do anything about it.
A lot of
So
them have sense of humor. I mean, especially the ones that are like jacked when they're in their like mid phase, where they're like
mhm.
mid rank, but they're like, they've been training real fucking hard. They'll wear these like skimpy shorts with their, yeah, so they'll like, you could, obviously their balls are hanging out and you're like, oh God, but they're like extra, like, yeah,
You might Ranger
they're,
panties.
oh God.
You talking about
It's
Ranger
like
panties?
it's like a tax thing. They like make you want to be cringe, but you can't,
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. So I actually, so I went to a military school and I had to wear those things, and they have their uses. And it was an interest. So I actually, um, because I've had to now that I'm more or less healed up, I've been um, I've been working out and mostly doing a lot of stretching. And actually, my favorite shorts to wear now are not the long basketball style shorts, but I literally wear like basically a modern version of the what we used to call Ranger panties all the time, and they just have like a sewn in liner, right? Like bike shorts or something, but they're still the Ranger panty outside kind of look. And I don't know, they're my if I have to run or anything, that's I actually really don't like the knee length basketball shorts. They're very similar to rugby shorts. Seriously, Shelby. What's up, Mikey Ball? Hey, do you have any Mikey? You can come up too if you want. Do you have any um, experience with or comments on civil forfeiture? Big
He
Jake's rants
might.
like his shorts, his cutoffs so short that the pockets hang out the bottom of them. Now, we used to call those Daisy Dukes. I don't. Can they still call them that, or what do they call them now? I don't know. So
Yeah, it's pretty funny because they all, they're jacked. They like, we're all out in the
mhm.
gym and everything like that, and
Yeah,
they bench like heavy. They go heavy. But the funny thing is, that's what the guy's referring to. Like, we'll go for these
yeah,
like crazy like 5 to 7 mile runs, and they're all wearing these like short ass shorts.
yeah, yeah. Those are definitely Ranger panties. I can't believe Sarah hasn't piped up yet with some cutting remark. Um, it must be all she can do to to hold up. Yeah. So apparently, Anson Knowles is being censored yet again by the angry tubes.
That happened to me. Like I sent you a Cash App in the
Oh my!
beginning.
I saw that. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I was I was testing it, and then I'm sitting there trying to punch in the chat for 30 friggin' minutes. Like I was testing to see if it worked, and it wouldn't let me type in the chat. Like it was weird.
Okay. Welcome, Joe Mobley, to the show.
Hey,
Guys, he
hey.
is not a Fed. He only work for the Feds. He's not a Fed.
I got
Seriously,
my
Shelby,
cups
welcome,
ready
sir.
to go. Hey,
Hello,
can you do me
Joe.
a favor? Can you do me a favor? Can you verify that you cannot hear this? Did you hear any?
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
Okay, good. I don't want to get you copyright stricken. I got the fight up over here.
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
So
they
I
are
can,
killing everyone's stream, even if you don't physically have it playing, and it's just the audio. They're knocking it out, and Glenn tried twice.
That's why I've got it. I wanted to make sure the audio didn't come over your stream.
And then
So.
Glenn tried twice, and he had the audio off and just had the video up, and he got
Yeah, taken down.
Works?
He got.
You know how that works?
Twice.
Do you know how they identify that?
Well, AI, I would guess.
Yeah, something like that. I can't say. I'm not allowed to say, but
Something
I
you've
used
been
to work
working
on
in the lab.
Mobley's
been working on
the
things
technology
in the lab,
that
guys.
does that. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you get Anson Knowles uncensored? He's about to cry in his underwear.
Well, he's wearing Ranger panties. That's why.
I can't believe nobody's ever heard of Ranger panties but me. That's
I have, but I wasn't positive of what they were at first.
I have a pair.
They're my favorite to work out in. Like you got to, it's really interesting. Although I have the ones I have now are by 511 or I forget the other brand, Condor maybe, and they have a short liner to them so that if they fly up, your wiener isn't flying. Because I do go to a public gym. Yeah.
I like Canterbury and was it Credo? Those are rugby short ones. So like the ones that you were talking about, I was like,
yeah,
those are the ones that I wear.
Yeah, I went mild once I realized that so actually, I have a funny story, but we'll just before we move forward, I got to tell this funny story. So my wife and I have been married less than a year, and she had some of her friends over. These are people she's known for a long time. They go, back in China, and they come over. They all go to the same university. They kind of work in the same industry, and they are actually still friends to this day. As a matter of fact, my wife is in Denver, staying with those friends for the next day or so, and then flying back after her meetings. But I didn't realize this, but I'm sitting on the couch, and of course, then, I still wore the Ranger panties back then, and I just had it like hanging all out, and I didn't know, and my wife's like, my wife's like,
Red, you gotta cross your arms with your back arched a little bit and your pelvis out when you do that.
I didn't realize it. I was just like having a conversation the whole time, and my wife was finally like, "Can you like go change?"
Oh my god!
Great.
Good, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's all right.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, if you don't know what they are, they're very special. They're very, very special. So Joe Mobley, civil forfeiture.
It's a total sham. Rivaled. I can't figure out which I hate the most, which the founding fathers would have been stacking bodies for first, civil forfeiture or the idea of the IRS, to be clear, comes to you. They don't even come to your home. They send you a letter that says, prove you haven't committed a crime or you're going to prison. Civil forfeiture is exactly that. It's more pernicious.
Yeah, they don't even tell you what crime you have to prove that you didn't commit.
It's exactly
Wheels up in here. What's up, Wheels?
What's up, my man? How you guys doing?
Don't be throwing up any
Pretty
games.
good.
Sorry about it.
I'm not returning your leg, by the way, Mike. I'm still holding it as a trophy.
Yeah, stop the cat.
Stop the cat.
Oh, hold on. Shelby, man, your mic is like to the moon, man.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to drop volume.
What's up, gentlemen?
Not much, man. We're just, we're just chilling. We're having I started off with a big rant.
Okay.
And,
man, I wish I was there for it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Civil forfeiture, man. Where's your position on it?
Well, I mean, I guess it goes where you, I mean, depending if they actually have something right there that they're searching for and they're take it, of course. I mean, I understand that's actively, kind of in a crime, but in the sense of, let's say I got investigated and they're coming for me, what blah, blah, blah. I look at it as, well, don't start seizing anything of mine until you find me guilty. End of story. You know what I mean? And I mean, unless I have
some evidence,
if I have some bricks in here, you know what I mean, under my bed, and they find some bricks, okay, well, I can't really fight that. But don't start seizing my legal assets, my legal firearms, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, don't be taking nothing until I'm found guilty.
So are you aware of how the way that it's playing out now is that if you were traveling with over, it seems that the threshold seems to be about $5,000 in cash.
Okay. Yeah.
That seems totally legal, by the way.
Yes, it is. I mean, I've withdrawn, I hate to say it, kind of like this. I don't mean to be this guy, but I've withdrawn over $100,000 in cash. And I mean, I had to do a money order. It was a big ordeal. It took like they wanted to draw this out to a month and a half ordeal. I'm like, no. And they tried to also make me sign up with their bank that I was cashing the check from. I'm like, no, that's illegal as well. You can't force me to join your shit. Yeah, but this is legal stuff, but they make it seem like it's illegal as all get out. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so but you can travel with any sum of cash in the U.S. Where did Mobley go?
I think he disconnected.
Internet.
By the way, is this better?
He's in backwoods Virginia. He's probably his rocks are he's 3 years old. No, he got me. His 3-year-old is raising hell. Got to check.
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
That's dad stuff, man.
Yes.
Go do that. Mine probably is too, but I have people inside to take care of that. And I can't hear it. I'm out in the studio. So, but at any rate, so yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you are legally allowed in the United States of America to travel anywhere within its borders with as much money as you can legally acquire.
Yeah.
And carry, right?
As long as
obviously I don't
made that legally.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you should, try and walk around with a bale of hundreds, thrown over your shoulder, but whatever's, whatever you can make work. And the DEA has been, especially in airports, the TSA will tip them off that you have cash, and they will contact you, and they will tell you that they are seizing your bag because they believe that it contains contraband, and you can either grant them the ability to search it, or you have to wait there until they get a search warrant, to which I would say, well, you're going to need to get a search warrant or I'm getting on my plane. And if you try and detain me, well, I hope you know karate, because
exactly. I mean, we've got a constitution here. Yeah, we've
it's
got
also
some
against
rights
the law to actually do that.
But there's actually a video. If you search right now, you'll find a video where a guy is in the airport. This is this year, 2024, just happened. Where a guy's in the airport, he has $5,000 in cash in his backpack. TSA sees it in his backpack as it goes through security. He is contacted by a DEA agent who wants to search his bag. What probable cause do you have? Why do you think that
this is illegal somehow?
Yeah. What crime do you think I've committed? The guy says, nothing. I don't know the crime's been committed, but we have a tip that your bag has contraband. Well, no, it doesn't.
That's not DEA's district, though. That's Homeland. That's ICE and.
Well, it is the DEA because they're looking for traffickers, and they're fed. Yep. So the feds can operate
Yeah, but like the what they have to do is sign off with Homeland before they can actually do anything like that. So that's how, because Homeland does all of the ways of like ports, airports, any kind of way of transportation to actually like come in. So them overstepping their boundary is actually causing a problem from the get go.
Well,
That's how.
yeah, I don't know.
Because like that's what Homeland does is they literally are what protects technically the transportation aspect of coming in. So that's terrorism. That's also human trafficking. That's also like a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
If you're coming in
yeah,
through a
and
port,
that's what the DEA. The DEA basically when they contact people, they claim they're looking for drug mules, traffickers, that kind of thing, and so that's why they'll say, well, we need to search your bag. Well, no, you can't because you don't have any reasonable suspicion or anything like it. Well, I believe that you have contraband in your backpack. Your bag is detained. You can get on the airplane, but your bag is staying here.
I
And you say,
believe
no,
I
that's my property and I'm going with it. So this guy did
well, if they don't
exactly
have a
that.
search warrant, they can't take it from you.
Yeah. So they don't need a search warrant.
They can say, I believe
They
they
can
can
say it, but legally they
No, no.
cannot take it from you.
Okay. Just let me finish for a second. They can
Oh, you're
say,
good, Mister.
yeah. As long as they say the words out loud, I believe you are a threat. I think they can, that probable cause is so contextual in the terms of the law. It can go both ways in any court, really.
Well, you're right
Like they
about
could,
that if it's like a bomb or something like that. But if it's
No,
cash,
no, no,
I
no.
mean,
So the DA, all any federal agent has to say is, I have a reasonable suspicion
suspicion. Yep.
that you are carrying contraband.
That's that blanket statement right there.
And then
Contraband.
and again, Mobley's right here. They're not going. They don't tell you that they're searching it. They tell you that either you can allow them to search it, or they will go through the steps
Legal.
to get a search warrant. But they're seizing the bag until they can get the warrant.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm leaving with my property.
And so that's the first level of civil forfeiture. They seize your belongings, and they can do it, dude. You could be driving down the road tomorrow,
And they could do that.
Or if you're Wheels, he could be on his motorcycle tomorrow, rolling down the road, get pulled over. The cops say, "You look just like this guy I busted 3 years ago for running drugs up through Alabama."
I think
you
one
have
of the
drugs on your bike. I bet you have drugs on this bike.
Yep.
I'm seizing this motorcycle until we can get a search warrant.
I got illegally searched in California for doing 3 over.
You can't. And when you can leave, you are not being detained, but your property is being seized, and you can't do anything about it.
I actually think this is part of the deep state knowing that they lost a lot of fucking leeway and they're trying to take advantage of everything before.
Well, it's a cash grab, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a cash grab, because what they're doing is all the proceeds from selling Mikey Ball's motorcycle, all the proceeds from the guy in the airplane's cash, that $5,000, the TSA and the DEA work together. The DEA, in theory, splits that money. So DEA gets $2,500 added to their budget. DEA gets $2,500 added to their budget, and their supervisors look like they're winning the war on whatever the fuck we're calling it.
Well,
right.
Yeah. Well, and then the other thing is they're acting like how the mafia ran New York for the longest time, from the 20s all the way up until they were prosecuted in the late 80s, early
Well,
90s. Because I
that's what I'm
think,
getting at is why do they get to be judge, jury, and executioner?
But they're
yeah,
not. See,
That's the point right here.
so here's the thing. What they have determined or what they're claiming, and nobody has fought them successfully that I'm aware of yet, is that yes, you have a right to not be searched, but they have an inherent and necessary interest in you not destroying evidence. So to prevent you from destroying, damaging, or removing evidence, they seize the vehicle, the home, the backpack, the
Whatever in
suitcase,
question.
whatever it
Yep.
is, they seize it and they hold it until they can get their search warrant. Now, here's the problem here, right? They know you're getting on a flight, and most people are just going to be like, yeah, search my backpack. And then they're going to come up with the $5,000 or 10 grand or whatever it is. And they're going to say, sir, why do you have this cash? And you say, well, I'm going out to buy a new carbon fiber leg. And then, and they're like 12 grand. So I need 12 grand. And and that's just what it is. And they look at you and they go, I mean, you're
yeah.
like, fine. I don't buy this.
But
How did you acquire this 12 grand?
Yeah,
though?
where can you prove me where you got the 12 grand? Oh, that's your bank statement. All right, well, who put it in the bank? Well,
Yep.
And they just so they shit test you a lot, which you're going to fail. They're gonna tell you no matter what answer you give them,
designed for that.
More than likely, they're gonna say, "Nah, I think you're trafficking drugs. You might not have the drugs on you, but I bet that you're trafficking drugs.
You're connected,
or you are trading drugs for Taiwanese sex slaves or whatever it is. They're trying to tie you to the trafficking of illegal or immoral substances. And when they do that, when they make it connect, right? They only need to make it connect. They can charge you, but they don't have to make it connect to seize your cash. That's the whole thing here. That's the real problem.
Yes.
The farmers were going through this, I want to say a year ago with chickens and then also certain grains.
Just White says same thing happens here in Australia too. The difference is you're a subject and I'm a citizen.
Damn. All right. I see that. Well, see, you're right.
We have a constitution that is in theory supposed to protect us from this very thing. Australians don't have that. Right.
And also, this is something that's interesting, hence why a lot of people in Florida, when they fly in and out of Florida, they're got big Cuban link chains and stuff like that, because that's actually easier to transfer. You can get that through TSA a lot easier than you can get through 200 grand of cash.
Yeah. But they'll confiscate jewelry.
Oh yeah, no, they will. They can make any claim they want for any bit of your property at any given moment. Yes,
also,
you're right.
$2 Australian, Just White. I appreciate that.
So
and then the biggest thing is though, most people don't understand is when you get into like a ICE or a DEA kind of aspect of it is they're just buying you time in like a little room, the whole interrogation room, the whole time, so that they can actually get the warrant to actually seize your shit. Because most of the time, if a lawyer is not present, there's not a search warrant, and they're just using that information to use it against you.
Well, so here's the thing. That's not a bad point, but this is just to make it a little more accurate, just to shave it down a little bit and make that stick really sharp. They're not going to get a search warrant in general because they don't have any reasonable suspicion. Now, in the video that you can find on the internet, the dog's searching the guys. So they have a dog come in, and the dog acts weird when the dog comes in anyway. And then the dog's like milling around and just kind of happy to be there. And all of a sudden it like lays on the backpack. not
signal.
not really signaling,
but they use it as an
call it a
excuse.
signal, right?
Yeah.
They call it the dog is indicated. And they generically will not actually get a search warrant. It's very difficult for them to actually convince a judge
Correct.
to give them
It
that
takes longer
warrant.
to actually get a warrant.
But especially off just, hey, we found this guy at the airport with a lot of cash. They have to milk the story or, whatever. Sometimes they will, just because some judges will give anybody a warrant, whatever. And federal judges are kind of notorious for it. But that's not the goal. That's not the goal. The goal is simply to deprive you of your cash. It's to inconvenience you to the point where you just say, okay.
Yep. You give
And
up.
once they have it, you have to sue them to get it back, because they will never press charges. They will never indict you. There will never be anything going on behind the scenes. In most cases, assuming that you're innocent, right? Now this is, I'm assuming things. Mobley, you're cool, man. You're all good. Don't worry about it, buddy.
Yeah, you're assuming from the legal standpoint. You're not assuming as the criminal.
Oh, you're fine, Joe.
Yeah. So
And by the way, thanks for pointing that out.
At the end of the day, they don't care about actually convicting you of a crime. They just want to relieve. That's why it's a cash grab. That is what they're doing. And it's a massive scale. The last numbers that I could find, because they're taking so much heat on this, you can't get numbers. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
Like the Institute for Justice has been trying for 2 years, and they were finally told that to release the database of how much and why they've confiscated is a threat to their ability to continue to do police work.
Wow.
I just want to make
it damages their ability to do so
for future investigations and stuff like
well,
that. Yeah,
it just damages their
interesting.
ability to do so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say about a month ago, I looked at the some of these government bills that they released, and one of them, House Reso, really struck me, because it said the House resolution to expand the Congress ability to further obtain 3-letter agency government documents. And I said to myself, I go, what is that? I go, why would the government need extra power to go get its own documents? You get what I mean by that, Grid?
Yeah, I do. And so Congress is actually one of the few things they're united on, is actually limiting and getting rid of civil forfeiture, because it's such a problem. Again,
I bet legally it's got to be.
When literally a building full of lawyers did everything they could to get the data,
and they couldn't get it
from the government, they couldn't get it. And eventually, after they were stonewalled and told it that they'll get it. Finally, said, no, you're not going to get it, because it will reduce their ability to, or it is, the database is an inherent piece of equipment, and it would reduce their ability to effectively perform their job or whatever. Total horseshit. Again, as Joe says, as a flagrant tyranny flex. That's awesome. Joe.
A question: are they scared to show on paper that maybe they are the ones that are funding the cartels and stuff like that? Yeah. Is that what the fear is?
I have no idea. I don't think I think the fear is that if they acknowledge it, they're going to get called on the carpet, right? If they show. So look, all right. I got to back up 1 second here. In 2022, I think, or 2020 or 2022 is the last numbers we have from the amount of items, wealth, whatever, seized under civil forfeiture. It was $3 billion in assets seized in civil forfeiture.
With a B?
B, 3
Dang.
billion.
Yeah.
Tennessee in 2018, Tennessee alone was 13 million.
Huh.
And the
Dang.
ACLU is actually the ACL. This is how bad everyone hates this. The ACLU is the one that was documenting it.
Oh, wow. That's even more interesting.
Right?
Oh, wow.
It's crazy how how this is a true across the board thing that it should make everyone's nuts.
It's an issue.
I think
when someone says civil forfeiture, it should literally feel like the cold, icy hands of death have wrapped themselves around your nads.
this is also making me. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to read this from Jess White. It's okay, Grid. A lot of Australians do not care about those jokes. It's quite funny and entertaining to us, actually. As a good subject that you are. I'm just kidding. I understand that you guys have a different form of government, and I just think it's always very interesting when people from Australia or England or France or anywhere else where they do not have a constitution per se. England technically does, but they don't actually use it. They're subjects of the realm. They are not citizens.
You're right. Well, that's something that I recently just spoke about on my show, Grid, is.
But yes, thank you for the $5 Australian. Thank you so much.
We're in America, right? Where the whole reason why we have a First Amendment is because we can back that up with the Second Amendment, right? And so all these countries, such as England and Australia, they say, oh, yeah, you have the freedom of speech and blah, blah, blah. Well, what's to really stop the government from taking that little document that they made and just swiping that away from them, going, oh, you thought you had that?
That would be a bad idea.
You thought you had that? But that's what I'm saying. Like, what really actually stops them on a legal aspect for their own country, you know, where they can protect their own. And unfortunately, people trust the governments too much.
Yeah. So here's the thing about that. And I've had this conversation a lot. Because I do talk to people who are like, it's getting too much. The tyranny, we borderline have a tyrannical government. We're like,
we really do.
Yeah, right. Mikey Ball is like right there.
Well, I got to just say something.
You did have a constitution, by the way? Okay, I didn't know that. Does Australia have a real constitution? I didn't think they did it. I thought that they were.
How can you back that up in force, though? You can't.
This is my argument with the libertarians, because you know, especially for some people who've been in the military and even served in government positions, they realize if you're gone, if you're like, oh, screw this sucks, I'm out, someone's going to fill that position. The answer, because even if you were able to shrink it, it's not going away. That's a pipe dream. So you have to have good people in there. I would say at least fair.
So I think we can shrink the government. The question is if, first of all, if we could keep it shrunk, that could be challenging. But the more important question would be, would we shrink it in the right ways? And I don't know right now. I mean, I'm hard pressed to have a good answer for you now. Just at the end of the day, I think that we have to understand that most people in America are very comfortable and very lazy. And as long as the internet works and the AC the AC still gets power from the system, and they have a hot shower, that's pretty much the end of it. And they're
very content people.
They're not going to go to war over it. They're not going to, and as much as I personally find it detestable, they're not wrong. they're really not wrong, right? Like when you look at people living in actual squalor.
That's how it was when I was in Brazil, when I went down there and was able to do the double world record with my club. That was kind of an interesting thing where we would go through their hoods for real, where they're living off of like nothing is government like approved or anything. They just build shit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. Like their showers, they actually have like barrels, big blue barrels, like chemical barrels full of their own water that they recycle through to shower. Like it's actually insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Until you've been
Favelas.
somewhere and seen
Shantytowns.
actual poor people, actual squalor, it's hard to understand because there's a lot of people who pay lip service to this idea of revolution, reset, the Great Reset. They pay lip service to that. They stock up. They buy all the cool gear from wherever the fuck is the big vendor now. But they they've got 6 months of food and a bunch of stuff, but they're never going to use it because they're too comfortable. And as long as the AC comes on, as long as the gas pumps work,
we're very selfish if it's us, our stuff that goes out. If it's like stuff that like gets into our daily life, then but if it does, electricity goes out on Americans, how long will we lasting?
Yeah, right. I gotta read this. K2 keep on trucking sends in $5 American, which is not monopoly money. It's close. It's not there yet. $5 is good. I'll surrender this $5 American to you, Grid. Thank you for providing entertainment as I go down the road. I just want to say the government sucks. Yes, the government does indeed suck. But more to the point, the government is supposed to suck. The problem is the government doesn't suck enough.
Oh, okay. That's a good argument. Let's hear it.
If the government was to hold government office ought to be unpleasant. It should be hard work for very little money that you want to get done and over with and back to your family. Because it should be a duty. It should be a service.
Right. It shouldn't be something that you're rewarded as a
make
career.
$1 million.
Right. I understand what you're getting at.
That's like every year when they do the debt ceiling bill and it shuts down right around October. We see it every year. And then all of a sudden they can't come to agreement. And then Christmas rolls around. And then what do? They go, oh, we have to go home for the holiday. So let's all agree on some BS. Yeah. And it's never good. The agreement is never good.
That's right. Our government, quite simply, is they just don't suffer enough. That's a problem. I'm going to stand by that too.
You know what's funny about this, Grid, is recently, just yesterday, I was having the discussion. Mr. Boulay was there about me running politics here in local office for Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, baby. That's right. Yeah, no, it was a discussion, but it's something I'm hesitant about because of the media and stuff like that. And I know that, necessarily.
Well, you've got a leg up on them, so.
Yeah, I do. I wish I had a leg to stand on that aspect. But yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, no, it's something that I've been considering, but it's an interesting thing about how you were just talking about government like that. Yeah.
I mean, government service should suck. I mean, it should suck.
That's the whole thing. You're working for the people. You're not working for yourself. You're not gaining an self-interest. But sadly, our government politic system, even in local office, is just like that. Who can shake the right hands? Who knows the right people? Who knows the lobbyists? Who can collect the most money? Who's got the popular? Who's popular? Who's likable? Rather than who's better for this state or country or whatever the state is. Rather looking for like I'm looking to be the best
money for them.
Like I'm trying to be the best I am trying to be for the entire state, not for just my party. Not just for that. You have to look bigger picture than that. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, let's just, again, government service should be service.
Yes.
Right. And it's not. It just isn't. And I feel kind of like a dick saying it that way.
No, you're right.
But it just is what it is, man. And the problem is that we don't have that. Our government service is literally a paid vacation. They created Club Fed. They mean that we apply it to prisons, but it might as well be to just everywhere everywhere Congress goes.
They raise their right hands the same as us military boys, same as us. That's the way I look at it, just like you said.
And they swear to the same oath.
That's
Support
right.
and defend the Constitution of the United
Welcome,
States.
Mr. Boulay, by the way. Welcome, sir.
Hey guys, I just indulge me for a moment. Just quick story, and I'll hop off. With regards to civil forfeiture, I don't know if this is 100% applicable, but here it goes. So, question that's often asked in the precious metals community: how do you store your precious metals safely? Well, one answer I give is not in a safety deposit box. Why? Well, what happens if law enforcement gets a warrant to go search for John Smith's safety deposit box? Well, the way these warrants are written, they are given the latitude to search all safety deposit box. So if you got money, family heirlooms, precious metals, all about my channel, go over there and subscribe, folks. They get to confiscate all of it, and you got to go through the same stuff you guys have been talking about earlier tonight, where you have to prove to them, no, I am not a bad guy, and you got to go hire the lawyers, go to court, blah 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 blah. So, short story long, don't store your precious metals in a safety deposit box.
Yeah, that's a good point. And another interesting thing is that they randomly will do the safety deposit box thing just because I don't know what.
Just because they can.
No, but it's it's a specific thing. RICO, because they're looking to tie people together, right?
Organizational.
Yeah, it's
all. Yeah, but that also doesn't deal with. Yeah,
that's how they get the ability to check everybody's safety deposit box in that bank.
So, Mr. Boulay, I got a quick question. So, it's a funny question, but Smoke in Space in the chat even said buried in a treasure chest on some deserted island. Are you saying essentially, are you almost better off digging your own, treasure map type stuff, put your stuff there, and no one knows, you put a plant over it, are you better off that way than some like safety deposit box?
That's what the.
If you're talking to like a doomsday prepper or something, yeah, they would probably absolutely drop, say, yes. Now, I would argue, well, if you have, if you own a lot of property and you got woods and swamp or whatever, then you can find little cubby holes and stuff to hide things. So that's a personal preference. Me personally, I don't own any property like that. So,
I get you.
My precious metals goes into a big safety thing made out of metal and other things where my other precious metals are also stored. So that's what I do.
Lead.
So, but like I said, you have the property, you have the means. Who am I to say you're wrong? Who am I to say?
I appreciate that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to write that. That's a good video for me to make. How are you going to store your precious metal? That's a good video.
That's right.
Have you been making videos, Mr. Boulay?
Yeah, I've been slowly doing
awesome.
it. Yeah, so I'm going to try to start posting some videos probably after Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice. Hopefully, I'll just binge watch everything when I come back from.
Be broke. Perfect timing for me to be broke. I got
it. Camp.
That's cool.
Well, to give everybody a little hint, I'm digressing from the discussion, but Black Friday is a great day to buy precious metals because a lot of the online bullion dealers will give you what's called a spot deal. They will sell you one silver coin or even maybe a small size gold coin for a spot price. In other words, there's 0% premium on top of it. So whatever the spot price is for that day is what they'll sell it to you. And they only give like a limited number. So, first come, first serve. So if you want to get started,
That's pretty dope.
Black Friday is actually a good day to buy.
Yeah. So, Mr. Boulay, have you in the coin community, precious metals community, how is the civil forfeiture affecting you guys? Because I know that is one of the things that the law enforcement looks for now to relieve travelers and other people of.
A lot. There's folks that instead of like carrying a lot of cash, should actually take a couple of, maybe a tube of silver or a couple of gold coins, and then wherever they're going to, they would then find a coin shop or something somewhere to turn that back into fiat cash and then go buy their truck, for example. So instead of carrying a big bag of cash, they carry a couple of, coins. But the thing is, that can be confiscated just as easily as that bag of cash. There's really no difference.
That's what I was getting to, is that I'm aware that they go after, especially gold, obviously.
Oh, they are so much more in tune with precious metals nowadays. Especially with the way the economy's been this previous administration. Oh yeah, they're totally tuned in.
Mm-hmm.
So even with it, you're not really gaining a shortcut carrying precious metal coins. I mean, yeah, you can do it, but here's the thing: do you put it in your bag or do you carry it on your person? Well, somehow, some way, it's going to get noticed. I mean, gold and silver coins are going to show up on an X-ray scan.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to, that just on the one hand, I kind of get why they do it, but I don't agree with it. Is my end of day kind of deal. I'm just like, I just don't agree with it.
Dude, they sound so like mafia, though.
It's pure Viking Raider, dude. You have
it. Literally like, yeah, like literally, it's like, hey, I'm gonna distract you over here while we take all your money out of your suitcase, and then we use it for our benefit, and then the next thing,
you man, they literally walk right up, and they're Viking Raiders. Walk right up and say, "That's mine."
Like they own the place. Yeah, that's now. You thought that's yours? No, that's ours now. Sorry about your luck.
Yeah. You owned it for 2 seconds? Yeah, it's not, man. Yeah, it's ours.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And then, and like, it just reminds me of the old, like, 1920s version of early Mafia, where it was corrupt as crap, and literally they would just take what they could. And they didn't care. They really didn't care about anything. And so, like,
you guys gave me another idea for a video. Consider this. If you recall, Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed an executive order banning Americans from owning gold back in 1933. So
that was going to be something I wanted to talk to you about personally, but that's cool that you're already bringing it up.
Yeah. Did people, obviously good, proper, patriotic Americans, follow the law and turn in their gold? But what if for those that didn't, did law enforcement go, come knocking on their door? Hey, give me your gold. I don't know. That's something I just thought of right now. I was like, ooh, that would be a good video.
And at the time, was it a felony to have like more than an ounce, or what was it?
Yeah, the executive order allowed you to hold some amount. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but if it's like a heirloom or sentimental value kind of thing. But if you're going to hold like a big bag of it, no.
Yeah, they were not going to have that.
But that's good. Excuse me while I write that down. That's it. That'd be a good. Well, but you see my point. Did they go door to door?
I better expect. I expect a video next week. You know what I mean? Just saying. I'm
you know what?
Spotlight on
I think well, after a good one, I think I'm actually going to work on that and try to get that out, because you got me motivated.
That's awesome.
Good.
Because it's about metals, but you think about it's kind of tying into what we're all talking about tonight.
It is.
you know. So thanks for the inspiration. It was good. Thank you. This video
What's
is
up,
dedicated
Sport
to
Brand? I
Mike.
see you there,
What's up, Sport Brand?
Mister
Yeah,
Light Signal. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'd give Sports Brand a pound, but you know, it's Sports Brand. He doesn't deserve it.
Is he not in the band anymore? Oh, okay. I got you.
Dude, I kicked him out. I kicked him out a long time ago
He can
as a
his own
manager.
down. Damn.
You know, the way that I do my panels, I don't know if you've noticed, Mikey Balls, but I keep my panels really small.
Yes.
Because if you get, and I've noticed this on so many other panels, you get like 6 people up. Really, if you get more than 5 people up, people
It's
just
out of
start
control.
talking over each other.
Yep. Every time.
It's hard to have a clear communication. It's hard to just.
And sometimes you're sitting there waiting for 20 minutes to say, like, you know, 2 seconds worth
And
of something.
the point gets lost.
And by the time that you even have something to put input, I'm not going to interject on them going absolutely ape shit. I'm going to allow them to do that. That's you guys can react to your guys' way. I can only control myself. So I'm not going to act like a fool out here, you know.
Yeah.
It's actually incredible the way that people react on these panels that I've been watching.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I stay quiet and try to like observe everything, kind of understand the logic between between like all the people on the panel before I actually state an opinion. But nowadays, I'm just so comfortable on panels with just here and.
No, I get that. Hence
Glenn,
why
it's like
I don't just hop on a panel like where I just like raid some panel.
Yeah.
Like I'm there because I genuinely want to be there. And then if I get asked to like converse about something special about like something I know, okay, I'll join and talk about it. But I don't talk about I don't just join panels to sit there and hear out weird arguments. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's just like, oh,
no.
I mean, I respect that. I respect it. But because I mean, it sharpens, you know, iron sharpens iron essentially. Right. And I get that. But at the same token, it's like, I just don't necessarily maybe even have the personality for that.
Well, so I don't do it often, but I'll do panels where I go in and usually it's Anchor Casper like challenge me. He's like, I need you to go over
Those are
this
fun,
panel,
though.
just
That's
test
a little,
them out.
That's
Yeah,
a little
that's
different.
funny.
That's a little different though. Those are like you guys, it's fun community type stuff, right? So
yeah, but like it's more like if I get challenged, I'm gonna do it just for shits and giggles. I don't expect to like win the debate or anything like that.
No, I get you,
It's
but
always just
I
like
get what
shits
Grid
and
was
giggles.
saying though. Like because once you get past even just sometimes 4 people, sometimes even 4 people, it's like, you know what, you guys relax. Like, but when you get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people on a panel, like, dude, like
it's just
out of control.
chaos.
Yeah, it's out of control.
It's sometimes why I tune out CT most of the time is like after he gets past like 4 people, I'm just like, this is just gonna be a shit show. I have to tune that out.
I mean, it depends on which people, but I get you.
Yeah.
So like I was on a panel. I've been on a couple of panels lately. I did a lot of panel surfing the last couple of days because I only have like 20 or 15 or 20 minutes, and I gotta go, or an hour, and I gotta go do something else. And I would notice that, you know, some of these panels. I mean, like it's pretty weird to me, and they're pointless, right? Like they just don't.
There's no substance. You know how
they're rehashing the same thing. Oh, like,
yes.
You know, women and divorce and women getting divorced, women causing divorce.
Transformers.
I mean, Transformers.
You have all sorts of weird topics that we already know how the American public feels about all of these subjects.
It's okay for men to keep, to keep their dicks wet, but women not, whatever.
It's just pointless. It's at the depth of an ashtray, the conversations.
Yeah. And I'm all for those. Sometimes they're very entertaining. They
are entertaining. I'll give you that. It is.
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're boring as well.
But most of the time that I've noticed is it's just boring. The people that they have on the panel is very bland. they're monotone and they actually don't bring any
It's
like
the same 8 people all the time. So
yeah.
Right.
No, I know. It's just like it's why like most of the time I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to my podcast, or if I'm not modding and I actually like go and search YouTube or anything like that. I was like, I'm gonna go back to like listening to my podcast because this is boring. I can't actually sit here and watch this.
Right.
The one thing I've noticed is there is a difference when you have a panel of folks. You could tell the difference between a person on panel who actually makes content and has a YouTube channel versus those that don't.
Yeah.
And that's mine.
Damn.
Call it tone policing, call it whatever you want. That is my biggest beef with this community is the
Damn.
content creators who come on these panels, they know how to hold their tongue. They know what TOS is. They've read the community of practice guidelines as set forth by YouTube and Google.
Yeah.
And yet these people who do not create content, they come up here and spurg and, say words they shouldn't be saying and deep diving into topics they really shouldn't.
Yeah, they got 4 followers on Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's all about drama forming, but they really, they just want to make a name for themselves, clip the things to put on their channel, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, if you're going to go up here and debate a topic or a subject or have a discussion or debate, discuss. Don't say, hey, asshole, you're wrong and you're a dumbass because you can't get my point. It's like,
yeah,
there's no way you are going to convince somebody else of opposing view. You're never going to get them to change. It's very rare.
Well,
and most of the actors out here that come on these panels are the same people.
So Grid, here's what I have a real quick thing on that is, okay, so I don't ever engage in an argument if we're not both trying to get essentially to the same conclusion at the end of the day. If I know I'm wasting my time with you and I know that I'm never fighting for the same thing that you're fighting for, I'm not even going to engage. Because to me, that's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. If we're engaging for the same grand, thing in life, okay, let's go ahead and talk about it. Like what's better for our children? Okay, let's talk about it. How do we get to that route? But when we get some crazy radical worldview that is so degenerate, and I mean, I've seen you on those panels that it's just, you're just sitting there just like, I can't believe what I'm hearing right now. Like, I can't even,
all right.
Why am I even tied to this right now?
Yeah, so like I get on these panels, man. I'm sure you've seen me on them where it's just like, and I think I was on a panel recently. It may have been just like last night or the night before last, or I mean, it was, sometime this week, I'm pretty sure. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to all these people just prattle, and it's just bullshit, and it's just so bad. And I'm like, what are we even talking about? Right.
Right. What is the point of the conversation? Like, there has to be a reason.
And I think I said something that was like, yeah, I'm just sitting here waiting for, for adults to speak or something. I forget what it was, but it was funny, and it was meant to be funny because, and look, I do the same thing, man. I'll get up here but I've really tried to limit my prattle. I limit the show, right? Like I do a 3-hour show, right? And
even that is really like, for some, that's like even just being able to have a 3-hour actual condensed dialogue show is really hard to do, to like have substance and information. Like, it's different when you're doing it, other people's way, where you just run a panel, for instance, and you just let people prattle about nothing. Right. So that easy 3 hours goes by like that, but you have substance, you have depth in what you're talking about.
Well, I'm also motivated. So what I found is when I would do the 8-hour shows, now granted, most of those I did before I was monetized, but once I was monetized and I did a few of the 8-hour shows, I realized that I can, in theory, make more money if I go 8 hours. It's just more time in front of people, and people will send me money over that period of time, and maybe I make a few dollars more. But Shelby, we can
Yeah,
hear
I know. Yeah.
you in your glove box or something. License ready.
Yeah, I was grabbing something. Yeah, I was actually grabbing a water bottle.
Really good on that
He just now started packing for boot camp.
one. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
No, I've been packed for boot camp.
But you
So-
know what's great about? Oh, sorry, Greg.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, what's great? Yeah, I'm brown nosing, but I think it's a valid point. You, the two of you, Grid and Mike. I've only been watching Mike for what, 2 weeks or so, maybe 3. But you guys, I give you guys credit because you at least try every show to mix it up. You're not doing what everybody else in the community is doing. You're doing whatever you're interested in. Like tonight's discussion. Tonight's discussion was excellent. That's why I really felt I need to come on here and share the story about safety deposit box because it ties in to the topic.
Yeah,
and
totally.
do you see anybody else out there talking about civil forfeiture?
Exactly. That's the depth of these conversations, though.
Yeah,
My neck.
It doesn't always have to be. My last criticism, well, I got a lot of others, but the biggest one is it's so, and you guys touched on it, it's so repetitive. You're talking about MGTOW and the red pill, the blue pill, black pill, orange, yellow, green, the Skittles. Come up with something new, and that's
emotional damage.
Exactly.
I gotta agree.
That's the problem I run into in the precious metal community because it's really the same stuff that just repeats every year. Oh,
it's on the same loop almost.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
so it's very hard to find something fresh. Something.
I mean, just
So
looking.
That's why
at
I got fired up about the pre-33 idea. So I want to definitely make a video, and I'll try to get that out in the next week.
Yeah, you
sure.
should do that. I have this thing. So if I look at streaming as a business, it is a business model to be on as many hours of the day that you can be on and still function and still be and you get and people log on and log off and all that. That's an actual strategy, and you can make money doing that. I don't deny that. But for me, it sucks. I don't make enough money for the amount of time that I put into it. And I didn't actually care until I started thinking of this as a job, right? And so and at that point I already had the idea because it was Mr. E over at the Crucible actually was the one that first told me this. When I first started, he said, you're going to come to the conclusion that either you're going to do 8-hour mindless streams or you're going to have a format, a concise show
and substance,
and you're going to condense it down, and your goal is going to be to provide a good show that people are willing to pay for, not that they're just there for so long they feel like they should, or where you said one funny thing so they'll send you a few bucks or something like that.
Yep.
And so again, you always do it wrong first. So I started with the long shows. I did that. That was fine. But once I got monetized, I realized that I do an 8-hour show and get like nothing.
Yeah. It's not worth it.
And then
it's a waste of your time.
It is. It's a waste of the time of my time. It's a waste of it's a waste of everyone's time.
Well, that's exactly what I look at it as. Okay. For instance, my longest show is like 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I do that on purpose because I want
you did 3 hours once, maybe.
Well, on like a big, like when I was doing the election coverage, that was a super long one. But average shows that I do daily, those don't go past 2 hours normally. And I have condensed that to where I want people to actually want more, not because they're tuning off like, oh, thank God he's over with this, or I fell asleep during the middle of his show type thing. Like, I don't want that for my show. I want people to be engaged. I want people to be like talking about the subject. That's how I look at it. Right. And Damien is accurate. The 8-hour shows, you just don't get the amount of hours watched.
Yeah, true.
So for me, what I did is I came up with the format of, which actually Mr. E once again had sent me a version of this, and I just made it fit me, where I do the intro, I do the first segment. Sometimes I'll take callers and then go into a second segment, and then I take callers for the rest of the show. And there's a timing to that, and there's also in streaming it is not a bad strategy to recycle the same 12 ideas every 12 weeks.
100% right. 100% right.
So this week we're going to talk about cheating women. Next week we're going to talk about men's value. The week after that we're going to talk about
geopolitics.
Yeah, we'll talk about, and I'm kind of picking on a specific group there, but
I see what you're saying, but I get you.
But you have basically, you have 12 or 15 subjects, and you just recycle them, and then people don't realize that, hey, we just talked about this 3 months ago or 2 months ago or 8 weeks ago, right now.
That's a winning strategy to these people, though.
It is a winning strategy.
Well,
I mean, and professionals do that, right? Like you can track that on CNN, right? Or your local news. So, but what I did or what I do is generically, I'm always looking at different stuff. I'm listening to my kids. I'm listening to my wife. I'm listening to other people talk about things, and something will just strike me, right? Like the civil forfeiture thing, when I was in an airport watching that video thinking, I'd actually have a couple of grand in cash on me.
You started thinking, oh shit, wait, hold on.
I was like,
I got $2,500 right here.
3,000 more would it be a big deal for me? Right. And then I start thinking about all the times I've driven around with, pretty decent sums of cash and thought nothing about it. And then, that kind of, then you start opening up and you go, wow, you know what? I wonder how much, where are the limits here?
Where is the line?
Cash, and then you start reading, I start going down the rabbit hole, and I start reading about people losing their homes, cars, boats, airplanes, trailers, basically anything that can somehow nebulously be tried to furthering the business of you selling or trafficking in illicit goods, right? And it doesn't have to be just drugs. It can be prostitution.
Yeah, they don't need any proof though, just to do it.
And they don't need any proof. They don't need any proof.
They can seize your shit like off the bat. Like that's the biggest thing I have a thing is
No
like,
warrant
oh yeah,
required.
no warrant required, and then
they can't open it,
they can seize your properties. They can seize the money that you actually have in your possession at that time. And I'm just like, dude, I feel like obviously from if you actually read some stuff about how the government and the mafia worked out deals back in the day, you kind of see like it's mafia based, kind of like government.
Hey, great question.
Yeah, man.
With the new administration coming in and all these incredible picks for
we talked
the various,
about that.
Yeah, we did.
Can you see the potential for this administration with all these, people in the positions they're going to be in? Do you think there's a possibility we could see change?
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about that yesterday. I believe it was yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, it was.
It is amazing, to be honest with you. To me, I think that the picks, and I'm not going to go deep into it, but the picks were to me, you could see that these are not random. There's a plot line there. Like
it all made sense.
It really makes sense. It's really, everybody on that list has either had been, on the wrong side of the Democrats and suffered, or they are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're the reverse.
They're overqualified.
Like the nominee to be the representative to NATO hates NATO.
Yeah.
Right.
They're
Like,
anti what
literally
they're
super critical of
yeah.
everything NATO does. She is super critical of literally everything, and she backs Israel. So that's a targeted pick.
Damn straight.
Like, everything he did, it was literally like there's so many analogies: picking the right tool for the job, hitting
Surgical
the target,
precision.
loading.
All the
bringing
puzzle
the
pieces are
gun.
coming together. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
I agree with all of that, and I think what's going on right now is the deep state they're losing their shit right now, and then the biggest thing is they saw what happened with the popular vote and the electoral college, and they're like, we're going to take it out before we leave power. And so it's going to get a lot worse before it actually gets better. That's actually what Elon said, is there's going to be a huge struggle from the get-go of when they take office, because it's going to be a lot of cutting the excess fat off of the government that we have right now. If you look at it as like special agents or anything like that, is only 20% of special agents actually do the work. The rest of them just sit on their asses with their thumb up their bum. And
let me readdress the question.
Yeah.
When Trump was his first administration, Congress, both houses, were controlled by the Republican Party. They got two things done: jack and squat. Are we going to see that again in this administration? I guess that's really how. That's why I really.
I don't think so.
So I think Trump is, with the way he's stacked the cabinet, the way that the House and the Senate have set up. I don't think it matters if we have a majority in the House, because Trump is literally going to threaten them with withholding funds for the states. It's done. Like, they will not get reelected if he does that. Like, they just won't. Right. Mm-hmm. And you just have to look at it as Trump this is all targeted, man. Like, it is ridiculously targeted. Like, he is not playing any games. He's, it's war. Like, I can't think of any better analogy other than he's at war. Of course, I believe life is war, but that's me.
I look at it as gladiator school too. Yep.
And
full contact.
Life
sport.
is war,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it's his yeah. Well, it's his run. It's his last run.
Well, great.
So he can come in with a huge iron hammer, and no one can really do anything about it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of people have said that, the Doge, they're the Doge people, there's a lot of people who are like, well, he can't really do that, but he can. They're under everything that they're doing is under the executive branch.
Yeah.
He is literally simply using things the way that they're supposed to be used. And the people, his cabinet is just ridiculous. It doesn't matter. Trump could literally spend his entire presidency fighting impeachment. The people he's put in place, Matt Gaetz is going to burn down the Democrats' house. They went after him hardcore.
The The problem is the Dems are going to burn everything down before actual inauguration.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's
yeah, I
a
know. And then
let them.
Yeah,
I want
them to burn it down so that when Trump actually comes in, it's an easier actual rebuilding the actual government instead of having to gut everything. They're gonna still have to gut everything because the biggest thing is
I think that what we're looking at is we're looking at the right people in the right spots to get a lot of things done. RFK being in charge of so
HHS.
much.
He controls everything. Everyone wanted him to do FDA, and I was like, no, if he's HHS, he can actually control multiple departments from the health aspect of it. Like he's doing pharmacy and
health and
FDA.
Human Services. Yeah, that's a lot. But he is, basically RFK doesn't need a vote to do most of the things he needs to do.
No, he has executive authority.
Right. So this is where, and I really hate to go back to this analogy, but this is where Trump is playing chess and everybody else is playing Chinese checkers.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Right. Without a full set. There, he is
only three sides. Yeah.
Yeah. See that they don't have all the people. So
the Democrats got used to playing checkers for a long time, and everyone's like, "Hey, we're gonna play this new game, chess."
Well, they're used to playing with politicians, and Trump allowed that to happen the first term. He made really bad. And who would have thought that Mattis would be a swamp creature, right? Like I'm stealing that from Joe Mobley, but who would have thought that Mattis, Mad Dog, would be a swamp creature who just wanted to continue the war so that more money flowed to the military companies, the military industrial complex. Who would have thought that? I would not have thought that.
I don't know. I'm a
and yet that's exactly what happened. And so when people say, well, Trump made all of these bad choices his first term, I'm like, you would have done better? Because I wouldn't have.
Well,
I'm just going to be honest with you. I would not have done better.
He's a businessman. He's not a politician.
Right.
So he had no point of reference other than he had maybe a little.
Well, you're supposed to be as good as your resume.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
a little naive.
If someone vouches for you, that's double. And if somebody and he's used to being in a environment where if Mikey and I make a deal and Mikey fucks me, I'm gonna fuck him up in court.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, the other thing I love.
That's if we're playing by civil law like that, though. You know.
Well, Trump's even dirtier than that. So you understand why he declared bankruptcy the 2 times that he did. They were in the middle of developments with other investors where the property value in the stock market shifted. And they were like, well, I want to pull my money out. I'm not putting any more money into this project. And Trump's like, no, we all agreed we're finishing this, right? And they're like, nah, you finish it. And the idea is that, the record shows that his investors were basically trying to force Trump, who had more money in it than they did, to finish it. They would still maintain their share, right? And they would profit on it. Trump said, fuck you. You tried to fuck me. I'm going to fuck you harder. I'm BKing out of this. We now have no deal. And then he finished them. The thing that you have to remember about is both times he took a BK on those projects, building hotels and casinos, both times he finished them. But the original people that came in with him that tried to fuck him got fucked harder. And you just
Way you
have
do
to
it.
remember that is how he operates. And so now he went to Washington and he thought he knew the players. He thought he knew the ground. He knew what was going to go on.
Well,
And he kind of didn't. He took bad recommendations. He had people saying, hey, we kind of owe this guy. He threw some backing in, you know. Well, Trump Hegseth wasn't even on anyone's radar. And he's going to be one of the biggest determiners in Washington. Right? Nobody even thought that guy, he wasn't even on the long list, let alone the short list of candidates.
Yeah. And nobody took him seriously when he came down the escalators at Trump Towers.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Nobody took him seriously.
Not even considered. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I didn't take.
I think one of the biggest things is, I think he needed to see his first term in general. Like everyone was recommended, said, but he needed to know who the enemies were, because as if you're in military or anything like that, is like you need to you keep your friends close, but you keep your enemies closer. He needed to see how actually the politic side of everything is, and it's always cutthroat. It's way more cutthroat than business, and I think he learned from that, and now he's going to come in with a high iron hammer, and he's just going to get it done from get-go, from day one.
He's fresh out of fucks. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
No, he's done playing that game.
Yeah.
He
needed to see it, though. I don't think he was prepared to see how fucked over it is in that kind of scheme.
You hear a lot in the news, since he won the election, that all the picks he has, they're all yes man, yes woman. They're always going to say yes to him. No,
it's the worst thing you can do for yourself. Yep.
Look at any of them. Do you really think they're going to? Do you think Watts is a yes man? No.
Or Elon Musk?
How about is Elon? Who's going to?
Come on, man. No way.
Yeah, what are you going to do to him? He's like.
I'm really waiting for the Doge meeting when he has to go talk to NASA.
So this whole idea that they're all yes men and they're just going to butter up to him is wrong, because you can clearly see any one of them will say, no, sir, you are wrong, and this is why, and here's my recommendation. They're not pushovers, in my opinion.
No, I think
they are.
I think you're right, and I think the thing is that the other thing is he's not friends with any of them.
That's right. Some of them were running against him.
Yeah, yeah, and him and Elon really don't get along, right? Like they are. It is convenient now for them to work together, but they don't actually get along, right?
Oh, I don't know. They might have softened up a little bit, but to your point, perfect example: Tulsi and RFK Jr., Democrats. Hardcore Democrats for the longest time.
I mean, calling Tulsi a Democrat, she's
not a Democrat anymore.
Well,
no.
She's
I
really
don't know
not.
if she ever really was. You have to run as Democrat in Hawaii to get elected. So
Hawaii,
same thing in California.
Yeah. So I mean, I think she was always a moderate, and I think that the way they treated her, plus her military experience, I think that has shifted her even a little bit more moderate. I would say she's like mod right. She's not. Come on, she is not a conservative. There's just be honest, right? Like she's just.
She's a centralist or a moderate.
Well,
barely a moderate.
She was a proponent for the assault weapon ban. So
yeah, I know, but she changed her stance. Was it 2 years? 2 years ago, she changed her stance off of that.
Oh, she did, but I was just pointing out.
No, I know. She was full Democrat
record matters.
aspect of it. Yeah.
Record matters for sure.
Yeah. Well, record used. I don't know that record really matters.
I
that
don't
much.
think record actually matters anymore.
Dude, I still like, I have a respect, for instance, like Bernie Sanders on his side for all the way up to his stance, even though I totally disagree with every bit of what he's got, you know what I mean? But at least he has the same conviction, the same way all the
Yeah,
way
no,
through.
he's consistent.
And he's
Yeah, he's
consistent, and
consistent,
I
sure.
respect
He
the
is.
people
Yeah.
that are consistent.
Consistent. Yeah.
When you're
I
consistent, you
agree with that.
consistently fall on the right side of history. It
But-
just
but
shows.
this is the problem with that argument, Mikey, and I really hate this argument.
I know, and this
because
is going to be brutal here.
because what happens is it you stop thinking. You just look for the line and you follow the line and you stop thinking. So the reason that I like Tulsi Gabbard is because she clearly changed her thinking. Now, a lot of people be like, well, she's faking it, this, that, the other. I don't give a fuck if she's faking. Why does it matter to me? I just need her to vote the right way, right? Like, that's all I care about. I don't give.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
honestly
she's
don't
there.
care.
That's why she's there.
Right, yeah, she's there to do a job.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, and you know, it's like RFK, and I said this months ago, right? That RFK and Trump were going to end up working together. People are like, no. I originally thought that RFK was going to, based on the fact that they had been talking as far back as last January.
I actually thought he was going to be VP.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be VP. I thought that would be like the dream team run because RFK is moderate enough that Republicans can tolerate him, but Democrats fucking hate him. Like they hate him. Like there's never been a Kennedy hated by Democrats until RFK. And but he's I mean, we have to you have to give it to him. He is consistent. Now, has he changed his viewpoint on a few things? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But he's and RFK is going to be really good in the job that he's been assigned to.
I don't think there's
big job too.
So Silver
It's a
Ogre,
fucking big job.
I agree that Bernie has no convictions. I wouldn't have said it that way myself. But I do believe that Bernie is very consistent in his logic and his voting and his rhetoric. If for
that's
no
exactly
other reason,
that's exactly what I said. I didn't say convictions. I said consistent.
If for no other reason, and to be honest, if I'm being honest, I think the reason that he's consistent is because it's the only fucking way he can get elected.
No kidding. No kidding.
And there's no other reason to vote for Bernie Sanders except exactly what you get.
We know exactly what the hell that dude is all about. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Biggest socialist in the world.
So with this Congress and with this administration, you think they're going to make changes to civil forfeiture?
I think they will make changes. It's just the thing that's going to happen is it's going to be hard from the start, and you won't see progress until like the end of the year. It's going to be hard from the get-go.
Anson's being degenerate over here.
Oh, I know. He's always.
You know what? I will be honest. I mean, to be honest, Tulsi is possibly the easiest to look at of all of the female senators. And maybe
AOC looks disgusting, to be honest. She has a nice body.
AOC's got crazy cat lady eyes.
Oh, I don't know. There's that congresswoman in Florida.
Hey, I'd get down with AOC. I'm not gonna
AOC,
marry her.
Well,
AOC is a butterface, bro.
Mikey's guys. Mikey's from California.
Hey, man, I'm a little liberal with that. Yeah.
You DJ.
Well,
Grid has Marshall Blackburn for the rest of your life.
I'm sorry, I can only hear one at a time.
It's my bad.
No, Grid, you have Marsha Blackburn, so you're good to go, right?
Marsha Blackburn is and not older, but
mature.
Yeah.
Fucking
she's not bad. What about MTG?
Dude, she looks like a fucking Barbie doll that was like over.
She does look like a Barbie. That's the problem. The problem is she looks like a Barbie doll, and then she opens her mouth and she takes your head off. You're like, wow, what just happened?
Oh,
Dude.
I try not to cuss when I'm on panels, but yeah, she's a boss bitch.
She is. I'm telling you, she is a Southern. What we call in the South a hellion.
Mhm. Wow.
But if you need to cuss, Mr. Boulay, just let me know, and I'll just cuss for you. I don't care.
Cursing privilege.
You know, but you know what?
MTG is Butterfinger. No, come on, man. MTG is literally like the Barbie of Congress.
No. The Congresswoman in Colorado, but she's kind of nerdy. But she stopped. That's why she stopped wearing her glasses. I can't think of her name.
Oh, from Colorado?
Yeah. Oh, what's her name?
What's her name?
Oh.
I'll pull it up.
First of all,
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the fucking name.
When she first got, like, she was wearing her glasses all the time. Now she's switched to contacts. God, I can't think of her name. Real short, kind of.
When she was younger, had to have been hot.
Yeah. Oh.
Was she Congress?
Yeah.
Lauren Bobbitt?
No.
Lorena Bobbitt.
Lorena Bobbitt. I mean, let me see.
Lorena Bobbitt. Yeah,
that's
you
the
didn't
first
get
thing that pops up.
Reference. You didn't get that cult. You're not old enough to get that cultural reference.
No. You talking about the one that
Tom Wayne Bobbitt.
The one that sliced it off?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, hold on. I'm with it.
Sliced it off.
Hold on.
Come back to that.
That's not all she did. I
heard she did a couple more things, but let's hear it.
She sliced it off in his sleep. That's why.
Yeah.
Angry woman.
And then rule number
one. Rule number one: we never go to bed with an angry woman. Rule number two: see number one. And then she cut it off, and then she got in the car, drove down the road, and threw it out the window
in the grass.
And they reattached it.
And then that guy became a prawn star.
I think.
Swear to God.
I think he is.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was
what the fuck did he do? What did he do?
It's crazy.
Does it matter? It doesn't. There's nothing I can think of.
It was an infatuation with that.
What kind of argument did they get into? What did he do? There are a lot of questions that are not solved right now.
And Spaceman saves you. It's Lauren Boebert.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
that's
good.
her. Yep.
I'm illiterate, so it's okay,
Yeah, but yeah, man, that's one of the reasons. I grew up. I was young when that happened, and that's the number one thing that convinced me to never, ever, ever go to bed angry.
Right. You don't want that happening right there.
I don't want to have to sleep with one eye open.
yeah, for real.
Either that or hide the
I'm sleeping in the other room if that happens.
Yeah, check into a motel, brother. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm going to my neighbor's house.
Yeah, just keep it real.
I can't believe a bunch of teenagers. I can't believe you guys went there.
Are you surprised?
No,
really?
Of course not.
We're a bunch of DJs. Come on.
Not with me around here.
Mike is the biggest DJ. Let's just be honest about that.
Silvar Ogre is rough, man. He's like, AOC got a saggy
cottage cheese butt
on a scrawny frame. Damn, son.
Yeah.
He calling out Mamacita.
Black? Simple and a blimp would actually appreciate that, though.
I don't know. I don't know who that is. But.
Alex Stein loves AOC.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, guys, so anyway, as far as the format of the show goes, since we got and then I beg for money here and there, it's just got to enhance the grift.
That's right.
What's the other thing I was going to say? In regards to the cabinet, I mean, I think the cabinet rocks, guys. I mean, I think it's just like, yeah, Mr. Christy Noam, when she was like 22, had to have been smoking. Like smoking.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like all American, break your back smoking. Just saying. I know
She'd make you be in a wheelchair later.
I was a
Let's
DJ.
just be honest about that.
I was a DJ at one point.
Hey,
guys.
no, Grant, me and you, I got you. I got you. I'm on the same page here. Yeah.
That's
if you're not in a
something
wheelchair, Gnome didn't do it
I'm
right.
going to start back up with my channels. I used to do 1 hour live streams every week. It was usually it was starting Sunday evenings, and I moved it to Thursday evenings, just for an hour. Get people to come on. We talk about metals, and we usually start with metals or coins, stuff like that, and then it would evolve into politics, the economics, things like that. And then the last part of the show, it's question and answer from the chat. The one thing I did do is before the streams, the people that I would invite, I actually put kind of here's some bullet points I want to go over each show, and then kind of stuck with that, and then left the last part of it to kind of open air, for people to discuss
That's
whatever.
a smart way to do it.
I actually have a teleprompter, so Talk Studio has a built-in teleprompter that I could use. I don't. And then I have a teleprompter that goes over my camera, so I can be staring at the camera, and you guys really feel like I'm talking to you because I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and you get the thumbs up and all that. But but I don't use it. I have it, but I don't use it.
Damn. I'm the same way. I'm off the cuff.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to talk about, but it evolves in its own way.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to start the live streams up probably. Wait a minute. Wait, you do Thursday day show, so yeah, I can do a Thursday evening show. So
yeah. I honestly think that you know what you should do, Mr. Boulay. I'm not telling you what to do. You're a grown ass man. You make your own decisions. But if I were you, if I were a man of your quality and stature, I would do your show like Thursday's a good night, and then maybe Sunday evenings, like later. And I would what your show should be is cigar, brandy, and gold. That should be you should brand that.
Damn.
And make it, just get a good scotch going on, talk about the drink you're pouring, what the pour that you're drinking, whatever. I don't drink, guys. So, I'm off the cuff here.
I do. But, I got you.
I drink.
But you could even do a whole thing about the proper way to pour each pour and how to warm it, which ones need to be warmed and which ones are better served a little cooler and all of that kind of stuff. And then you can talk about it, whatever the smoke you're having is, and that's a good, I think that plays into into the people that would watch your channel.
A niche. Yeah.
It's a niche. Yeah. I think, and it, you can talk about, the gold coins and the Cougarons and the, all of the things that are related to your collection. And 13 like a Davidoff style or a more a less gay GQ kind of deal.
No, I like that. That's some great inspiration. That'd be great because then kind of jazz it up a little bit.
Hey, I'll fill up my glass. I'll be there with you.
Yeah, actually, if I get time, if this works and I have some time over the winter, I'm going to do. I have a project to do a show based around like like it's kind of a guns and gear channel, but more
Oh, nice.
refined kind of deal. Yeah, I'm not going to go too far into it
I
because
like
somebody
that,
will
though.
rip me off.
I'm
Right,
in.
totally.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So
I love it
So
though.
after service, I plan on getting back into streaming, how I used to do when I was on Twitch. So I kind of gonna do a comedy, kind of like news kind of shit, and do like just like shenanigans the whole entire time. So when I come back, I'm gonna have a bunch of scripts already written up.
Old Anson Knowles up there trying to be Johnny Cash or Hank Williams, pardon me.
No, he's trying to be Edgar Allan Poe and die in a fucking ditch.
I got
No, that's from a Hank Williams song.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hank is Hank? No, yeah.
Hank Jr.
Hank, wait, is Hank Jr. Is it the third?
Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah, but isn't there? There's a third, isn't
He
there?
fell off a mountain onto his face because he was so drunk.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he wrote a song about it.
I already know what my first drink's going to be. Old fashioned.
What?
I was just about to say, it's got to be a good old fashioned. And my dad's like obsessed with knowing how to do it perfection.
You know the other one, Mr.
insane.
Boulay, that I can see you pulling off is an actual New Orleans Sazerac.
Oh yeah, dude.
You are a smart man. Did you know that? Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
The other thing I was gonna do is do like if I did members or anything like that is do brewing stuff. So brewing beer on the side as my members only kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
because I love brewing beer. I've always enjoyed brewing.
I think, so Mr. Boulay is if you hadn't already guessed, he's an engineer. He's relatively refined. He speaks well. So you might as well play to your strengths, man. Play to your strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last thing I need to get is a new camera because this one crashed out. That's why you don't see me. So like I can get a new
Man,
camera.
if you want, I don't normally offer really unsolicited advice, but the camera that I use is a Panasonic Lumix G100. It's a micro 4/3. It's literally $550. And
that's not bad. That's not bad.
And you can add the Lumix 25mm lens, which is what I'm using now, for like another $150, and it's pretty good.
800.
I have a bunch of lenses for it now, and so you can kind of go down a rabbit hole with that.
Oh, I'm sure that's easy to do right there. All of a sudden, you
Yeah.
start getting different lenses, and yeah.
I got a Mikey or Miki, however you say it, 16mm cinematic lens today.
Wow.
And it's legit. So I mean,
is that what is on right now?
No, this is a Lumix 25.
Got you.
So it's really just the distance between how far the camera can be away from me and still get everything in frame. If I had the 16mm on, you'd see that whole wall.
Right.
Like
It'd
it's
be
such a wide angle.
Got you.
And, and it's too wide actually. Is the problem is it's too wide. I have to move the camera really close to me, and I need to move some things around, which it allows me. It allows me to move things around.
Well, it looks good.
Yeah,
it looks great.
The camera, I don't know, man. I took somebody's advice, and I now have 3 of the Lumix cameras. That I have 2 G100s and 1 G7. They all work great, and they're for what I do anyway. They're great, and they're easy.
Right, they work.
Yeah, they're just really easy.
I'm
Yeah,
writing all this down. Thanks, Grid. This is exactly what I need.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like that. That's a great idea.
It's but yeah, I mean, you should really,
Ooh.
you should really like play into
Oh, you came in
the
hot.
lounge aspect of it, right? Like think 1965 Playboy.
The old school.
Before they moved into the
single
mansion.
chairs. You sitting there.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah,
Before
absolutely.
they moved into the mansion.
Oh,
Before they moved
up here in Huntsville, there's the Humidor. It's a cigar and pipe shop, and they got a lounge area. And I'm picturing that.
Yeah, that's what you need. If you think about how Playboy originally started in an apartment, I believe in Manhattan or Chicago or somewhere like that, and that's, you know,
I think it was
just a lot, and he was selling the pictures weren't as big a part of the original book. It was, and by book I mean magazine. It was the lifestyle that he was selling more than anything else.
Right. But it all tied into what maybe his original message, maybe just like Mr. Boulet's is originally with gold and precious metals, but then you can grow into that lifestyle kind of brand. Yeah.
Yeah. You just got to play to your strengths, man. Just play to your strengths.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grid. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. This is
I agree with that. And then the problem that you'll get from the get-go is like it's going to be a struggle, but the biggest thing is just to persevere and then just keep on doing it.
Oh, I know. When I first started doing live streams, I was lucky to have like 3 people there.
You know? The other recommendation I'd make for you is on your comparator. I would use I don't know what software you're using now, but if you use Talk Studio, it has an add cam feature, so you can have a second camera ready, like I did earlier, where I just click add cam, and I have my second camera up there, and I just hit add extra cam, and it puts it into my list there, and I can just pop the camera up, and I get my second angle. And for you, when you're doing your coins, I noticed that when you were doing your coins before, you were having to, it was not a smooth, nice transition. So I think that just changing that, making a couple of small software changes might really help with your comparator. I'm sure that you're using like a comparator. Right?
What was this so I can write it down?
No, I've been using OBS.
Yeah. I don't use OBS anymore.
What do you use, Greg?
I literally use Talk Studio, what you guys are on right now. So this is the only software I use to stream through. I occasionally will use the actual Streamlabs desktop OBS style deal, but I don't use backgrounds. I don't do a bunch of things. OBS is really a pain in the dick to add extra people and guests, and it's just
getting audio correct.
Audio correct.
It's a nightmare.
If you're good at it, it's great. But I sit around and talk on the fucking internet. I don't need to learn how to be a rocket scientist. I mean, there are people that do that already.
Right.
So
it's not intuitive. OBS is not intuitive.
No, it is absolutely not intuitive, and that's why this really works well for me. This particular software. So, but I think you'd have a really good show if you made your hobby of coining, and merged it with a kind of a lifestyle, relaxed, medium to high end, whiskey and cigars and just give people, because you're not just talking about the gold coins, which can get get a little dry. Now you're talking about this great, Cuban whatever that you can get now because the embargo's lifted, and you should really try these because compared to the Nicaraguan stuff, the Cubans are a little smoother. whatever. I mean, you can have that. You can make more of a conversation out of the hour or 2 hours you're on screen than just, hey, look at this pretty shiny gold coin. It's worth this much. It came from this mint, which is all exciting stuff, but it's exciting stuff in 5-minute doses.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I agree. It is. It's dry. It is a very dry subject area. I totally agree.
Yeah,
ideas.
Unless you put all of your time, and like you do as well, Mr. Boulay, like you are super, super into it, super passionate, right? I mean, not everyone's going to have your level of passion for the subject that matters. So then just enticing it, just like Grid was saying, that's a great way to do it.
No, I like because it helps frame it, and it adds a little variety, and little bit of sophistication. That kind of I like. Really, thanks, guys. Thanks, Grid. Thanks, Mike. Of course. Really great.
By the way, I asked Grid earlier, what books would you actually recommend me to read for leadership or military strategy?
The U.S. Army ROTC Manual FM 22-5, Basic Fundamentals of Military Leadership.
Oh, okay.
It should be. Yes, it's a. They still have TRADOC, right? Yeah, but if you search on it, I believe it's FM 22-5. I think I might have that wrong. I'll go look at it because I have my old one from when I was in ROTC, and allow me to leave this little piece of info. The manual states that leadership. It defines leadership as the ability to influence others to accomplish a task by providing purpose, direction, and motivation.
Yeah.
Direct quote from the manual.
I'll keep mine short and concise. 48 laws of power.
Yeah, you and Glenn are the same. That's what Glenn said, and I was like, I read both. I read that.
That's a good answer, in my opinion, right?
Dude, I hate that book, and I love that book at the same time. It makes you understand that you are... I don't know how to describe it.
There's a lot to it. There's a lot there's a lot of depth to leadership.
Yeah, it's...
you have to
learn how to follow before you can lead. That's...
No.
So I don't normally admit this publicly, but I actually won an award for leadership once.
Nice. That's dope. That's really dope, actually.
Yeah.
I won one in college and I won one in high school.
Yeah, I won a state award for leadership.
Wow.
Yeah.
Through the state.
Yeah, the governor gave it to me.
Wow, that's cool. Humongous. Actually, I mean, yeah, dude, that's humongous. Yeah. You should be super proud of that.
Cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't actually mention it very often because I was a kid and things I did as a kid kind of irrelevant. But
it shows your character.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I learned and all the stuff in military school and all that, I've read a ton of text on the theory of being a good leader. I would always most of the books I pointed out were not specifically about leadership in and of itself. It's about being a better you, because once you're a better you will be a better leader.
No, I know I agree with that. That's kind of the same aspect that I've done any kind of leadership that I was with rugby, wrestling, or if I was actually in a management position, which I was for a long time. But the biggest thing I always saw from leadership when I was not in leadership was there was this struggle of them trying to control the employees or anything like that, because none of the employees actually respected them, or if they came into power and then just beat the employees down to nothing. And I wanted to hear your guys' aspect of what you would recommend for books or anything like that, because I think you need to as a leader, you still need to learn from
I think Anson's been in
ideas.
the alcohol tonight. His
What?
comments were just, and I think Anson's been in the alcohol a lot tonight.
Oh, probably. I haven't been paying attention to him. He's been like popping me up all the time. I've been ignoring. But yeah, I think like most of the time. But most of the time I think I need to understand like a lot of other leaders' ideas so that I can take it in and then use it to my advantage to be a better
I
leader.
take a little bit from everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. People that I really respect like that, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But like most of the time my whole leadership is I just want you to do your job and we can hang out, joke around all we want, but like I just need you to do your job. I'll be hard on you if you're not doing your job. That's the whole point that I've always done.
So I was a really bad person to work for because my entire philosophy is if I had to do the job, I didn't need you. And I could do every task in my businesses I could do. I didn't need a painter there. I could paint. I didn't need the body work guys there. I could do that. I didn't need the mechanics there. I could build. I could do everything.
Is delegating to get more time.
The reason that you were there, if I hired you in, the reason that you were there is you made my life easier. The minute that stopped happening,
you cut them off.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you're a liability.
I'm the same way, but I'm
a horrible person to work for because I have a really high, very, very high level of expectation, and I have almost zero room for margin for error.
Well, you have the same expectation for yourself, though.
Yeah, right.
That's the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
no, and I get that grid. I get that. I understand that. The biggest thing I had was I worked with a person with you when I was doing construction and plumbing, and I missed one day because I was deathly ill, and I don't ever call in or do anything like that. And he got so pissed that I didn't show up, and I did call him and text him, and he's like, "Bro, I've been throwing up since like fucking 2 a.m. all morning. Hey, I'm not gonna come in. There's no way I'm actually doing this." And he got so pissed off about it. And from that day, I missed one day. He just held that over me, and I was just like, "Bro, I don't get sick often. I don't get sick often."
I don't do that myself. Guys, I'm gonna wrap up. I'm sorry. I forgot, and we're a little bit long. Not too bad.
Well, we're a little bit long, but we were enjoying the conversation, so it was a good convo.
Yeah. Go ahead and let's get our final thoughts in here, guys. We can start with.
I'll go first. Hey, Shelby, I gave you the wrong number for that leadership manual. Let me go. I got an old copy here. Let me go look at it, and I'll send you a DM.
You can hit me up on Discord because I'm still in the mod chat.
Yeah, I'll and there's two other books that I read. One's written by an admiral, and the other one's he's a lieutenant commander, U.S. Navy, he's a SEAL.
It doesn't have to be SEALs, by the way. Like anyone.
No.
He
just happens to be.
He just happens to be a SEAL.
Anyway. I'm just saying is like it doesn't have to be Navy. It's just I'm looking for anything in general to actually like read to help me better because I have a feeling when I go to basic, I'm gonna be honest.
Reed, thank you for my service. I'm telling you, it's a short read. You'll love it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest real quick. I've seen the recruits recently for service. They're not intelligent, bro. They're not. I have an already feeling I'm going into basic and I'm going to be a leader. It's bad. It's bad.
Well, you'll be put in, your drill instructors will put you in a leadership position whether you like it or not.
Yeah. So when was it Scott the other day or something was telling me about the Ziplocs, I was like, I need to go to Walmart, buy a bunch of Ziplocs. So I don't.
Yeah, extreme ownership by Jocko is really good, Arthur Dye. Glad you made it in right as we're about to leave, by the way. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Hey, well,
Anderson.
Grid, I appreciate you having me up tonight. Appreciate you,
Mikey, it's
on your
always
platform.
great to talk to you, man.
No,
So
I
it's
very
good.
much appreciate it, man. I'm very appreciative.
Yeah.
Glad
Always.
to actually speak to you calmly. Mikey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's
No.
always a good time.
Thank
it's
you.
always good.
Thank you, Grid, for
Yeah.
letting me come up and talk. And I actually talked about something not necessarily about gold and silver the whole time.
Right.
There you go. Yeah,
So-
it was good. It was a good end to the show. It was great. It was really good.
So thank you for that. I appreciate it. And thank you again, Grid, and you, Mike, for the inspiration on helping me relaunch my channel. So I'm
Much
definitely
love, man. That's awesome.
I am inspired to restart a weekly live stream, and I'm definitely going to do that pre-33 video because I'm really intrigued on what really happened when that went into effect. So
You got to direct message me when you're letting me know when you upload that. I got to be around for it.
We'll do.
Don't guys, by the way, don't forget that subscribe if you are, and please leave comments. The algo loves the comments.
Yep. Be engaged up in there. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah. Hey, good luck with boot. Don't worry, you'll do fine. Just this sounds overly simplified. Just do as you're told. I know that's a cliche, but really, you keep your head down. You just do as you're told, and let everything roll off your back. You'll be fine.
I'm not really like the biggest thing everyone was telling me is like, oh, you need to worry about all the physical. I was like, bro, I don't think you understand. I'm a wrestler and I play rugby. Like the physical aspect of it does not bother me at all.
No, they'll build you up. I mean, when you first,
I know they want to break you down, but I know I'm going to be hard to break down.
Yeah.
Well, don't laugh when you're in the shark attack. Don't laugh.
Oh no, I know. 3 people have already warned me about the shark attack that happens after you get on base.
Solid. All right.
But thank you, Greg, for letting me on panel again. I appreciate all of you done for me as a mod. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
you gonna make it in tomorrow night, or is that your last night of?
Tomorrow is my last night. So I'll be here tomorrow as well if you want me to join. But yeah, tomorrow is my last day.
It's always good to have more mods in the chat. It's always, But if if you feel like you need to go out and have that last night of drinking, and
no, I'll do it on your stream. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm not gonna go drinking tomorrow.
You started saying DGen things and Michelle popped up.
Oh, damn it. My bad, Grid.
It's all right.
But yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. It's my last day. I think I should be with you guys instead of like actually doing some DGen shit like Michelle.
Oh, Michelle's great though.
Sorry, Michelle. I had to do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, if you guys don't mind dropping down, I'm going to say my last words. I'm going to send you guys over to Flow State tonight. He's talking about a dovetail comment. We talked about civil forfeiture. He's talking about police, law enforcement kind of stuff. It's going to be great. And it's going to be a good time for everyone. more or less. And, you guys will enjoy Flow State. Flow State's not bad. So with that, I'm going to tell you to be cool, wear glasses if you need them, and get off my lawn while you listen to Andrew laughing his ass.
Yeah, now I just answered your question. Can you tell me what epistemology means?
Epistemology is the study of the epistles. I mean, you can. I told you that a husband and wife is supposed to be the representation of God and the church. He said he's a husband. I asked him if he sees himself as the embodiment of God, and he said no. That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, what is the epistles?
The epistles are the apostles. Are you talking about the